Episode 47, Lyin Eyes.
All right, got this time. Lyin Eyes. The only way to explain the last 2 weeks, or hell, the last 2 years, to be honest, hell, the last 400 years, but
and counting.
Yeah, the last two weeks especially, your eyes is lying to you. What you see ain't true. You need to believe what we say. The last 2 years, your eyes is not like what you see and what you read. You're interpreting it wrong. You're not smart enough to know what's going on. So you need us to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking to y'all. I'm saying this is what they're saying to the population right now. Anyway, man, hope y'all had a good week.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful day here.
Been raining all week. Finally decided to get some sunlight today.
Well, if a place is known for rain, should you expect the sun?
It's not really known for rain anymore. I say for the past 5 to 7 years, the weather has drastically changed here.
Yeah, I changed the weather when I came.
You didn't change shit, nigga. It changed when I came here in 2008.
And the weather changed when I came. But anyway, let's move on to our first. We're going to talk about today. A lot more political. And it's not a lot of, what's the words I should use? I don't know. Gossip stuff.
No, it ain't gossip. It ain't a gossipy show.
Well, I guess gossip can be political.
We don't have a gossip show, no way.
Well, this gossip
can be gossiping about.
But gossip can be political as well. But anyway,
yeah.
Let's go ahead and start. We're going to go down at first to a couple of things. We're going to talk about Biden and his State of the Union. We're going to talk about
that was terrible.
The California Reparations Task Force coming at odds about who should receive the reparations. We're going to talk about the Emmett Till lynching act being passed by the House again. This is not new. This has happened before. It just won't get through the Senate. And of course, we got a case we're going to talk about that no one's talking about, which is a shooting that happened in America. We're going to talk about that soon. Let's go ahead and get to first thing. Biden's State of the Union speech takes aim at Putin and poll numbers. Of course it did. His poll number was dreadful. You know what's crazy? Why would your poll numbers increase because you spoke? He didn't do anything. He spoke and addressed things, and all of a sudden his poll numbers goes up, allegedly. Which says a lot about a society when somebody can speak and things.
Well, they're not used to the president speaking as often. We know why the president doesn't speak as often, because the motherfucker got dementia, and he literally has to go through so much rehearsal to get his lines right, and he has to have those two witches sitting behind him to make sure he stays in line.
You know, we're gonna get to it later about the Putin situation, but Kamala Harris, they really don't believe in her at all.
She fake it in a $2 bill.
But this right here, she said this was Biden as a quasi-wartime president, absent the actual American troops, talking tough about the fight for freedom in Ukraine against a foreign enemy, and capitalize on American unity to sell his domestic agenda.
Kamala Harris ain't nothing but a damn concubine. That's what she is. And Nancy Pelosi
he going in. He ready today, y'all, by the way. He ready.
She done dropped in every area possible.
Oh, she dropping?
She damn alcoholic. That's what she is. Allegedly.
Oh, Lord. Okay. First, I'm going to show a video, because Biden only mentioned, quote unquote, black issues once that I saw. But I'm going to show a clip from his speech, and I'm going to show some other clips to just show how embarrassing it is
to have him as our commander in chief.
As ours? He's a commander in chief. He ain't my commander in chief. But let's see what he had to say right here.
Tax cuts to eliminate, and the estimate is that we've cut black poverty by over 30%. We reduced child poverty by more than 50% in the black community. The American Rescue Plan also included historic funding that allows cities and states to invest in community violence intervention programs and keep neighborhoods safe. Look, you're critical in getting the infrastructure law passed, the bipartisan bill that's going to do so much. It's going to replace decades of disinvestment in the United States of America. A commitment to reconnecting communities and people and job opportunities. So much of what the the early investments in highways and interstates, they cut neighborhoods in half. They divided things. We can put it back together again.
Now, this wasn't at the State of the Union. This is just something he said before his bills passed. What his bill was supposed to do for the black community.
So the black community is just ridden of crime and poverty.
I mean, is he lying about that part?
Not every black community is crime.
Of course,
and
not everyone.
poverty,
But we're talking about as a whole.
But damn.
Now, that's what he was saying when he was trying to get his bill passed. He was willing to say the words black.
Now it's what, minorities, people of color?
It's not even a little bit of an inkling.
Oh, he's directly saying, I did this for the Asian community, and I did this for the fucking flaming people.
Mm-hmm.
But now blacks just not
all of a sudden you don't
no more.
You're not part of the agenda.
The dementia kicking in again.
You forgot. But listen, this is now remember in 2020 with George Floyd and all the uproar, and what was the biggest thing that came away from that? Defund the police. That's from the Democrats. Defund the police. The police need to be held accountable, and we need reform, police reform. Well, he came out and said something during his State of the Union, but it wasn't police reform necessarily, not the way we thought of, and it certainly wasn't defund the police. It was fund the police. I'm gonna be very surprised by the reaction of some of the quote unquote progressives in the party and what they're gonna think about that, or they're gonna shut up and take it and move along with the agenda. Let's see what he said.
We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police. It's to fund the police. Fund them.
Keep in mind, these are the Democrats who were just 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago.
Hold on. We have to put into context what he's saying. He's saying we have to fund the police with training. He didn't say with
No, he said money as well.
Okay, he's going to say money?
Just listen.
Okay.
Fund them.
Look at
Fund them with resources and training.
See, resources and
what
training.
kind of resources?
That would be money. That would be equipment. That's putting money into their equipment and stuff.
Look at Mitch McConnell turtle looking ass.
Resources and training they need to protect our communities. I ask Democrats and Republicans alike to pass my budget and keep our neighborhoods safe.
Well, this is not in subject though. I think it's time for Kamala to get a touch up on her neck. Because Nancy Pelosi's neck looking better than hers, and she's like 20.
Leave Kamala alone for once.
Nancy Pelosi's like what, 20 years older than Kamala?
Nancy Pelosi pushing 90.
And her neck ain't got no wrinkles, and Kamala
been using her neck more.
I guess black do crack in Kamala's case.
She Indian. She been doing the damn it. I had a nice joke right there, but I don't want to say it.
Say it.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Slobbing on knobs. That's why her neck is wrinkled, going up and down like a bobblehead.
There's a position in yoga I'm about to say that she performed.
Go ahead and say it.
Nah,
tell me, I'll say it.
Anyway, so he's saying we need to fund them with resources and training, but the resources part. So he's saying the opposite of what the party was saying just 2 years ago. So the politics changed.
Is it time for them to do the switch up again? The two parties?
They started it a month ago. They already started the switch up a month ago. So now the Democrats are going to be pro-police. Matter of fact, you can make an argument.
And the Republicans the conservatives are becoming anti-police because they see the police as not willing to back
the people.
Yep.
You can make an argument that the pro-police Democrats started on January 6th.
Oh, the insurrection.
It started there when that black officer shot that woman and they was defending the officer saying he was a hero and a hero and all that stuff.
Yep.
The pro-police Democrats started then. And the Republicans are never going to be anti-police, but they definitely be more skeptical. And they'll say stuff like freedom more often now.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech and freedom of this. And if any police officer that's against this.
Or against protesting.
Yeah, it's not an officer that I respect and stuff like that. So they started this transition a year ago. but what is the notion now when you have the president, the leader of his party, saying fund officers with resources? The opposite of the message just 2 years ago. So there's a lot of people that voted for the party because of that belief, and now they did a complete 180
when it's time for the election again, what happens?
Or they'll change again. They'll just the second the election ends, a new election start. Mm-hmm. So the direction that they choose differently, they'll say something right before the election, and then right after the election, they'll say something the total opposite. And you'll say, "What, you said this before?" And you'll say, "Circumstances are different now." You're like, "That was a month ago." Mm. I'm going to show something else now. And this was something that kind of went viral from Biden's speech. Another confusing situation that he had.
Oh, they're just picking on the president. They're trying to find anything that he says wrong and make fun of him.
Yeah, okay. But Biden called the Ukrainians
Iranians.
He said Iranians. It sounded like he said Uranians. If you listen, it sounded like he said Uranians. He couldn't even say Ukrainians or Iranians.
Maybe they're the same.
Well, let's see what they had to say. Hold on.
Maybe he knows something we don't know.
Shit. We don't even know where he at half the time.
Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of freedom.
I think he had the shit, or he was shitting on himself. You see how his face looked? Like,
he's a Uranian. The K got kicked out because he was squeezing at that moment. So he was like Uranian. He didn't get to put the K out. Correct. But look at this. The next video I'm going to show you is them. If you notice during the speech,
they kept getting up and down, clapping a lot.
Every time Biden says something,
I think they had a cue to do it, and he just got up a little too early.
Oh yeah, that's what kept happening. But I'm going to show another one too. Look at the reaction that Kamala had in this video to what Biden says. The look on her face was like, "What?
Nigga?
Did he say Uranian?" Like, look how she looked. The confusion on her face, like, Lord,
he done fucked up again.
Listen,
I should have did
Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of.
She like.
He said Uranian. He didn't say Iranian.
Yeah, I don't think he said Uranian. He just didn't say Ukrainian. He said Uranian. But I thought it was funny how she was just like.
She said, "Am I in the damn Twilight Zone? Did they change the name of who they are?
Did this motherfucker just say Uranian?" But here's another mistake that he had. Not a mistake. He said, "I'm sorry." I'm pretty sure y'all saw the video of Nancy Pelosi doing a knuckle rub behind him. Like she was supposed to clap. But what he said wasn't a clap moment, but she had already put her hands together. So she just started rubbing her knuckles together. So this one right here is what's his name? Schumer. He stood up too early.
And then he looked around, he was like,
this how you know it was all theater.
Theatrics.
It was all theatrics and theater. They were just playing a role. Every time he say something, just clap. Even if you didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, just clap. Let me show you.
Rescue plan. The American Rescue Plan helped working people and left no one behind.
Now, what that tells me is they knew the speech as much as the president.
Yep, they all had been given the lines
that he was going to say the moment he needs to stand up and clap.
Yep.
He stood up too early because he knew the speech. He's like, oh, he's about to talk about this. Let me get up.
Rescue plan. The American Rescue Plan helped working people and left no one behind.
American politics is all theatrics, but they're not as good as what's going on in Britain and in Canada. Their parliament is fucking hilarious. They just scream across the room at each other. They be booing each other. It's way more entertaining to watch than America. And America politics is it's it is what it is. But yeah. Right.
I would say American politics are a little more professional than the UK's politics. Man. They just say some outrageous stuff.
They all scammers. So now, one of the things Biden said in his in his address to the nation. He said something about terrorists. He talked about gun ownership, and he said terrorists should not be, people on a terrorist list should not be able to own guns. When you first hear that, you go, yeah. But then you got to remember, the last couple of years they've changed what a terrorist is.
A black nationalist is a terrorist.
Exactly. If you are a person who is a part of a black nationalist group, or what they identify as a racist black nationalist group or black separatist group, that means you're on a terrorist list. If you are a person, hell, this got to be fair.
Ain't the Nation of Islam on the terrorist list?
Yes, it is. Nation of Islam as well. If you are a person who is a Trump supporter or supported the trucker convoy just 2 weeks ago, you're considered a terrorist on the terrorist list at this point. You're considered a part of a white supremacist group. If you're a part of any group that is about a certain particular demographic, it can be put on a terrorist list. So with him saying that anybody on a terrorist list, regardless of circumstances, should not be able to own a gun, is he not just talking about anybody that disagree with their government at this point?
Yes.
And we saw what happened in Canada. They confiscated their bank accounts, got fired from their jobs.
Anybody
that disagreeing with the mandates.
Anybody that disagrees with the New World Order and the reset is a terrorist.
So they've been trying for the longest to get the gun. In America,
and they ain't gonna get it.
They got the guns in Australia a while back, and you see what happened to Australia. They fell so quick. Like with the UK, they have no guns, but they got knife crime. They still got their knives.
They be sticking one of others.
And it's a little bit more of a personal thing when you stab somebody. And
I mean, you got to be direct and up on them.
You got to really hate somebody to stab them, cut them. You got to really want somebody up out of here to put a blade in them, a rusty one especially. Put a rusty blade and twist it. Like, it's a certain level of
anger. You angry? Yeah. Like, I'm going to gut your ass.
Like, you really want them up out of here. So we got to pay attention to when they use the word terrorist now as anybody who believes anything what they call anti-government.
Are YouTubers putting out misinformation going to be considered terrorists?
Yeah. I mean,
well, this platform that we're on,
what would be based off the rhetoric we spew, as they'll say, we would
be considered terrorists.
We would be considered terrorists probably. Now, I doubt we're on a list, but the point of, I'm saying that we do know they listen through all your electronics, your phone,
your Bluetooth
computers.
Headset.
Yes, they listen.
Has anybody been having? Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Has anybody been having any issues with your Bluetooth device just randomly turning on and turning off? That's been going on for the past 2 weeks.
And the
internet has been real shaky.
5G just went live here. What was that? 2 weeks ago? And the second I saw, I said, and everybody start acting up. And lo and behold, it's slowing down. It's cutting off.
That's like you said. That's to try to get you to call your provider.
Yeah, to get upgrade.
Say, what's going on with the internet? And
like, we don't know. But
we have a special.
We have
on
a
the
special
5G.
upgrade for $50. You can get 5G, and it's like,
Verizon Wireless is offering $50 for 5G.
Yeah, now that's pretty cheap.
Until like a couple months from now, and then it's gonna be like
90, 110.
I remember. You know what? I remember with cable, people. I'm gonna say people used to say every month my bill. My bill go higher.
Look, I know a person. I ain't gonna say the person.
Go ahead and say it.
They went on a rant about their bill being higher. Now, when a person renting to you, for the most part, you just like listen. When you know when it's a rant, you just listen. You go, all right, get it off your chest.
It's a black person. They repeat it over and over.
Exactly. They gonna keep saying it over and over. This is gonna go on for about an hour. They pissed off. You have to take it like, all right, I'm gonna give you somebody to talk to. So after the hour of ranting, I decided, let me see the bill.
Like the episode of Martin,
where
he let the electricity be off.
He let the electricity cut off
for $5.
I looked at the bill. And
the principal.
The bill was $10 higher. I said, the bill is only $10 higher. It don't matter. It ain't supposed to be this. No, I'm like
Martin said, it's the principle. If I keep letting you get an inch on me, then it's $5 this month, but 6 months from now it'll be $50, and then it'll be $500.
Look, that person was ranting for like an hour, and I'm thinking the bill went up $100.
Sometimes
$50. It was up $10.
Sometimes you gotta weather the storm so that you won't have to go through it again.
That was crazy, but yeah, that was just a funny story. But I'm gonna go to this right here now. we're talking about domestic terrorists or domestic extremists, as they'll say. You see here, domestic extremists a challenge to financial institutions, U.S. Treasury says. The department for the first time analyzed the funding sources of domestic violent extremists. Now you got to remember, like we said, NOI, Nation of Islam, all those Israelite groups, all those black separatist groups, black nationalist groups, they're all on the terrorist list, or they're on the what they call it, Southern Poverty Line.
The Christian,
the
conservative. What are they called?
The hate group, whatever it's called.
That belt. They're the ones that control that shit.
Yeah, basically anybody who considered a hate group is on this list. I forgot the name of it right now. It's slipping to my mind right now.
Southern Poverty Line, something. You right? It's something like that.
Something like that. They on the list. All those black groups are on the list of a hate group. Now, a hate group could be seen as an extremist group, and the extremist group is on a terrorist list.
Yep.
So keep that detail. It says here, domestic extremists present a challenge to financial institutions. U.S. Treasury Department warned in a new report that analyzed the funding sources alongside those of foreign terrorists. Now listen, they just compared domestic, quote unquote, domestic extremists to foreign terrorists. So Al-Qaeda, all those other groups, they just said that domestic extremists, we're analyzing them the same way we do foreign terrorists. So we saw that with the Patriot Act.
Mm-hmm.
They already see you as enemy combatants, pretty much in your own country. Now watch this. I'm going to skip down. I'm gonna read this right quick. Because so-called domestic violent extremists typically have normal transactional activity and often use legal fundraising methods, it can be hard for authorities to detect. The Treasury said Tuesday in a survey illicit finance threats. Now listen to this. I'm going to go down here. It says, though many domestic extremists fund their own activity, the Treasury said the department also called out crowdfunding platforms as a source of income for the extremists. Amid the pandemic, those payment systems have become a necessity rather than a convenience.
Well, that goes back to Canada.
Yes, it does.
That's them directly calling out. What's the name of that? GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Wow.
So now, if you're a person, let's say you're a black. I remember a few months ago there was an article or a story about a black group of families that purchased land. You remember that?
That was in Georgia.
And they're trying to start a new Black Wall Street. Mm-hmm. Now imagine that group saying, we only want black people to live here, black economics, black. Well,
that's what I'm thinking they want.
And somebody came out in that group that said something disparaging about, say, Caucasian people. We need to get away from them. These people are, they said something nasty about them. And they started putting these people, they put a name on themselves and they called them a hate group. Now those people are getting crowdfunding. I don't know if they're on GoFundMe, they might be. They're getting crowdfunding. They mean they can cut off the crowdfunding for them for trying to separate from the rest of society.
Wow. So,
and obviously there's more than just...
well, that's when your black celebrities should step in and fund them.
Obviously there's more than just GoFundMe. Now imagine, let's say I have views, certain views that I have are considered hate speech. I might have a large platform, say 1 million followers across social media.
Well, I know that.
And I say something that people don't like, but I got let's say I got a documentary I got coming out, or I'm purchasing land for a museum.
Tariq Nasheed.
You can call me now a terrorist, a domestic extremist. You can stop me from crowdfunding. What if I have a Patreon and I have where my people that follow me can directly connect with me through Patreon? Can they not cut off my Patreon supporters?
Yeah. Seems like they're going directly at you now.
Cash App. At some point, will they start going after Cash App? Will they say, you can't get donations through your account because you're seen as a domestic extremist?
Cash App is a very convenient. It's like money orders, only different.
On instant.
Yeah, like it's like Western Union. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to go to a Walgreens or a store. You literally just
on your phone. Pop up.
Your bank. It's sent. it's way more convenient than using Western Union. Western Union it's a hassle.
It's yeah, you gotta yeah. But you see, the Treasury Department listed the base, a white supremacist group deemed a terrorist organization by Canada and the UK and Australia, as one example of a violent group that had drawn its focus. Several base members have pleaded guilty to the U.S. firearms and immigration-related charges. Prosecutors alleged those members were hoping bloodshed would galvanize a civil war.
The white supremacy group is just that's a deflection.
They
ain't really what they talking about.
This is what they do. We saw it with Joe Rogan. When they were after Joe Rogan for not being in line, once again, he's controlled opposition, I believe. I believe he's CIA. But when Joe Rogan was saying things that were against the media narrative on what was going on the last 2 years, they immediately made it racial. We saw NDIRE come out and post that video that somebody clearly sent to her. She didn't make that video. Somebody sent that video of him using the N-word. And that, in one way, get him up out of here, whatever. I don't really watch him like that. But they used that to be the real attack force against him. Now, I don't think it really worked because I don't think his audience is, I don't know how much of his audience is black. I don't really know how much that really hurt him. But they're going to use that for this as well. They're telling you, we need to, remember Biden just asked the banks, or was the IRS, I'm sorry, to be able to release information on you if you spend more than, I think it's $600 or $900, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They lowered the amount of money you need to spend for the government to be alerted, to keep track of how you're spending.
Well, they ain't none of their damn business.
So now they're saying, hey, we need to be able to control who gets crowdfunding.
When the government start going in to work for me and working damn 60 hours a week, then they ask and tell me how much money I can spend a week. Ain't none of their damn business.
They're not trying to control how much you spend.
Ain't none of their business how much money I spend, period. That's my damn business.
But they're not going to try to use the white supremacist group thing to convince people to allow them to control who gets crowdfunding.
They're really going after other people. They ain't going after the white supremacists.
They're going after anybody who's against their agenda, basically. But they're going to use this as we need to be able to control this. We already said they're trying to bring it into digital currency, whether it's crypto or whatever. They're trying to use something to control the population. What was it? The UK, they said they want to be able to control what people buy with their digital currency. That's called a social credit score. If your credit score is too low, you're not allowed to go to the club today. Or you can't go to this part of the city because you have to go over a bridge through a toll booth.
Ooh, I got a good credit score. I guess I'm in the elite.
No, top. Social credit score. Your social credit score is low.
Oh, yeah.
Your social credit score is, remember that was a Black Mirror? And the person, the score kept going down.
My social credit score would be damn -10.
Yeah, you be out of society at this point. You're in prison. You're already in social credit score prison. You owe money. You in debt. Heavy debt.
My credit score would be pretty bad. My social credit score would be pretty bad.
But yeah, let's go to the next part, man. House passes bill making lynching a federal hate crime. This is not the first time this has happened. This is not nothing new. The House has passed this bill before. It's the Senate that it can't get through. Lawmakers easily passed a bill, which is now named after Emmett Till, a 14-year-old African-American boy who was lynched in 1955 on a 422 to 3 votes. 3 Republicans.
I think that he would prefer to be called a Negro or a freedman, ADOS, Foundation of Black American, descendant of slavery, no longer African American.
Here you go. By the way, this is y'all know how long ago this was, and they're just now passing this.
That's what I said. We
in 2022. This is 1955.
It's 1955, but we're able to get a anti-Asian bill passed for Asian people
after a year.
We're able to create something for Native Americans.
They've been you can't really use that. They've been doing stuff for them for the last.
We able to create something for those drunks.
I told y'all he back today. I told y'all you're gonna be on one. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to this
But we can't do anything for these people that have just been struggling, trying to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, and just can't seem to make ends meet.
Can't. When the niggas get by. House passes bill. We already read that. While the bill said sailed through the bipartisan support, 3 Republicans, Representatives Andrew Clyde, Let me get rid of this.
Oh, and meth heads too. They meth heads. I forgot that part. They meth heads too.
Thomas Massey and Chip Roy, Texas voted against it. The legislation's passage comes before the 120 years after the first federal anti-lynching legislation was introduced by then Representative George Henry White, who was the only black member of Congress at that time. Can you imagine being the only black person in Congress and trying to get a lynching bill passed? That's like, please, can we just not?
No, I can't imagine.
No, I'm saying, like, it's like, please, can we just not let people that look like me be lynched? Can we just pass this bill, please? And it's just like, you're not even getting treated serious. Our nation endured a shameful period during which thousands of African Americans were lynched as a means of racial subordination, in enforcing white supremacy. These violent incidents were largely tolerated by state and federal officers, and they represent a stain on our nation's legacy, said House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler. So this is supposed to be a big deal, but it's not. This ain't the first time. You see here, the bill authored by Representative Bobby Rush was designated lynching as a hate crime punishable by up to 30 years in prison. More than 4,700 lynchings occurred in the U.S. between 18 to 82.
Shouldn't it be life in prison for lynching somebody?
I mean, it is murder.
That's not up to 30 years in prison. That is.
I think they mean it's added onto your sentence, so it's like murder and hate crime. Lynching is, I guess, is how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It was like a double. You're charged with murder twice, basically.
We're gonna give you life for murder and 30 years for you
No.
lynching somebody.
You can get 25 to life with a possibility of parole for the murder. Then it has 30 years automatically for the lynching.
Okay.
So it's automatically going to serve at least, 50 years or so. But the bill authored by Representative with more than the highest number of lynchings were in Mississippi, where Till was beaten and shot in the head by two white men for allegedly flirting with a white woman.
Now, if you heard this, so when it says Till, who was shot by two white men for allegedly flirting with a white woman, you think this was a grown-ass man. This is a 14-year-old boy supposedly flirting with a grown white woman.
The House previously passed the bill in 2020, but Senator Rand Paul objected by clearing it by a unanimous consent in the upper chamber. Paul's objection came even though the Senate had previously passed a version of the bill in 2018 by unanimous consent. Now, Paul said that he was concerned it might conflate lesser crimes like minor assaults as lynchings.
How would that be so? It's described as lynchings, ain't it?
Well, for instance, Ahmaud Arbery, that's a lynching, right? Would that be considered a lynching?
Well, when
they chased him down for his race, and they killed him.
When I think of lynching, I think of
beating,
stringing somebody up by a tree and lynching them.
Well, how often does that happen?
Yeah, I think there was 2 or 3 cases that we know of in the past.
No, we know cases of people being found hanging from trees. So you don't think there's a broadened lynching from a rope to anything?
Well,
racial?
That's why you have to specify in the bill what is considered lynching.
And that's what Rand Paul was saying. Well, if a dude of another race. By the way, is this lynching bill for black people or anybody of any race?
I would say they're gonna make it where it's for anybody of any race.
Minority.
Any minority.
So if a black person is walking down the street and they get into a dispute with somebody who's not black, and they get into a fight, and it leads to them being injured, and some racial things were hurled during the attack, is that a lynching or is it just a fight?
I would say that's just a fight.
But that's his point.
That's
according to him, he believed in this bill, it would say that's lynching.
According to this dude, he's afraid. He think that anything that involves any altercation or any crime that involves African American, and they end up on the side that
the violent side,
then they're gonna say that was a hate crime.
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
Well, sorry, sir. Tough luck for you. If that's what it is, that's what it is.
But yeah. I'm pleased to have worked with Senators Cory Booker and Tim Scott to strengthen the final product and ensure the language of the bill defines lynching as an absolute heinous crime that it is. And I'm glad to co-sponsor the bipartisan support. Paul said in a statement on Monday.
2 black men who ain't got no kids and no wife, Mr. Cory Booker and Mr. What's his name? Your boy.
I think my boy Tim
Scott, the one that you think is gonna run for president.
By the way, I think I might have been wrong about Keisha Bottoms.
No, ain't. You think you got it wrong. You got it wrong.
Hold on. We're still a year out before people
you're right.
start.
We got 2 years.
No, we got a year out before they start campaigning. Keisha Bottoms can still run.
Okay, in a year, we'll revisit this topic.
I think she's running still. I'm standing on it.
Stand on your square. Don't ever let nobody get you off your square.
All right. Let's see. Did I make this a? Okay, no, I didn't make.
You don't have to.
What?
You didn't. This is just straight talk right here.
This one you ready for? All right. California Reparations Task Force at odds over who gets restitution. We watched the live.
None of these Negroes on this platform.
We got around to watching some of the live stream that they had and some of the call-ins they had.
And what 100% of the callers that called in pretty much said that if you're not classified as, I'm gonna run down the list: ADOS, Freeman, FBA, was it Soul
American
People, Negro, American Black,
Black
a descendant of slavery. If you don't classify yourself as any of those people, your ass ain't getting a check.
Are you dictating that, or you believe that's what you believe it shouldn't happen?
Yes, I believe that should not happen.
I'm saying, but you were saying like that's not gonna happen.
In my mind, it's not going to happen. And if it do happen, it's gonna be some smoke in the damn city.
You gonna burn the city down?
I'm so selfish. If they can have it, I don't want it. That's how bad it is.
I can't go there.
And people would say, "Damn, you're a selfish, rotten motherfucker."
Rotten motherfucker.
But damn it,
rotten to the core.
My fucking ancestors didn't fucking bleed and sweat, and we going through the shit we going through now for them damn leeches to benefit what we went through. I said it.
I don't agree. Not that hard.
Why don't you agree? You know what? Me and Duke we've been going back and forth for the past 3 weeks. It almost came to blows.
It come to blows. Maybe in your mind you want to swing, but I never thought about coming to blows.
I don't want to. You can say politically.
I agree.
Politically, I don't. Man, fuck the politically stuff. It's outside of political for me. I think that you call me a xenophobe. It is what it is.
Who I call you a xenophobe?
If you think I'm xenophobe, then I'm xenophobe. I wear it. I stand on the square. I don't think that if you came here, and even if you came here in 1880, I don't think you should be entitled to anything. You say, well, we were free, blah, 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 acts and stuff were passed. They came here thinking, it was going to be better, so that's why they came here. Well, tough cookie. It happened to be that they didn't get so much better because they created other laws. You could have went back to where you came from. And you said, well, they came here with nothing. I don't believe that, because we know most foreign people that come here are elitists in their country. Not all, but we know majority are.
I wouldn't even say majority.
So now it's not majority. So are we talking about now or then?
Then or now.
So you think most people that come here are struggling?
Oh, now no. Most people that come here now probably their family.
But back then you believe that it was people that were struggling that were coming here. No, I don't believe that.
No, they weren't all struggling. If they came here for schooling, more than likely they weren't. But there were people who were.
I'm sorry. That's my stance. I do not believe that they should be entitled to anything. And some people could say, well, damn. I mean, they may have came here and they may have suffered the Jim Crow law. Well, we know that most of them were not in the South. They went up north. Most immigrants.
It was up north too.
I know. But I feel like it didn't hit as hard up north as it did down south. We know there was lynchings. We know there was things that was going on in the north. But we know the heart of it was in the South.
I think that the North gets romanticized a lot.
I'm not romanticizing shit.
As something that wasn't as bad. I think it was bad.
It was bad. I'm not trying to negate anything that black people went through in the North. But we know that Negroes was literally going up north to escape from the South.
It was a little less harsher.
Clearly, it was less harsher than it was to be down South.
And I think there was more so political than social.
But yeah.
Maybe the opposite.
I just don't believe that they are entitled to anything because what's it called? The Caribbean.
Capricorn. I forgot. Yeah, I know the word. I know what you're talking about.
They clearly said no. Black Americans are not entitled to.
I think they
anything.
say that because there are no Black Americans.
I'm pretty sure there are Black Americans that left.
There's not as many Black Americans in their countries as immigrants, Caribbean immigrants here in America.
Those Black Americans that have went there and have, let's say, been there for 100 years. They're probably
they're not considered Black American.
What are they?
They would be considered American. I mean, I'm sorry, they'll be considered Caribbean.
Okay, but
you don't consider somebody who's Caribbean who came here in 1880 American.
No,
that's crazy to me. I can't agree with that.
Well, that's your belief.
If you been here since
I don't believe the Black Americans that went to the Caribbean. I don't think they're Caribbeans. I think they're still Black Americans.
Been there for a century
because their bloodline runs back to America.
I think that culturally everything they're not. They are what they are.
But still, yeah, they may have
They went through what's going on there.
I'm telling you, deep down inside, I bet you they could come back here to this day.
No,
I bet you they could come back here to this day and still be able to relate to.
Well, they could. People that's not from America can relate.
No, they can relate, but it's just not the same.
If a person is going for a century, it's not going to be the same. But let me get to this. California Reparations Task Force postponed.
The spirit bear witness.
The California Task Force postponed its vote to decide who specifically will be eligible for restitution from the state. Now, this is in California, by the way. This is not
America.
This is not national. In a 5-4 vote, the task force chose to table the vote as they remain tangled in debate over the topic. I don't want to feel like we're rushing into something, says State Senator Stephen Bradford. Granada, there have been brilliant arguments on all sides, and I just think we can flush this out a little bit more. The postponement came after hours worth of public comment and then an hour and a half of debate between members. The task force is trying to decide if eligibility requirements should be based on lineage or race. Lineage-based eligibility would include Black Californians who can trace their ancestors back to the direct descendants of slaves, but critics said they could be too difficult to prove and would exclude many.
How is it too difficult to improve?
Remember when we watched it, they made the point that there were people who were around during slavery who weren't slaves. Are they not allowed to get reparations? Black Americans who were here during slavery who weren't enslaved.
Yes.
They get reparations though.
Because they went through Jim Crow.
But a person who came here in 1880 who went to Jim Crow, they don't get it.
They chose to come here. That's the difference.
I just don't. They've been here since 1880.
I don't give a damn. They chose to come here.
They're American.
They chose to come here.
A minimum.
They chose to come here.
They have 3 generations here.
They chose to come here.
That's not the point.
That is the point. The point is they did not have to come here. They chose to come here.
So wait, the argument about Black Americans being somewhat different, especially culturally, from places like the people who believe we're all African, they'll say we've been removed from there for centuries. Well, what about a person who come here in 1880? They've been removed from their culture for a century. They're not.
That's not
true.
true.
Not ingrained into the local society.
That's not true.
Local culture.
That's not true.
What are you talking about?
These people that come here, they still keep their culture intact. They eat their food. Yes, they eat their food. Even the dude, they still keep their culture intact.
From 1880.
From 1880.
Who?
These people that come here from the diaspora.
Travis, you think somebody came here from 1880?
Yes, dude. But you can believe it or not. I'm telling you, there are people that come here and they keep their culture intact. They still eat their food. They know their traditions. They keep that stuff intact.
Majority of them.
So you're saying people that come here do not keep their culture intact?
I'm saying that most people. No, we're not going to do this. I'm saying 1880. We're not going to act like I'm talking about the 60s and the 70s.
I know we talking about the 1880.
You think somebody that came here in 1880
is
not American? I don't agree.
Well, I don't give a damn what you agree
Legal
with.
experts have said race-based eligibility could be too broad and might be struck down in court. They actually said that it would go against all of the what do they call them? The
Constitution of
all the amendments they've made for.
But you still are trying to find a wiggle way for them to get in there, and they keep saying that's not going to work if we go by that. It can't go by race. It has to go by lineage. The people that have been here, where they have been suffered for it to be able to hold up, and you saying we should include these people. It has nothing to do with race.
The chair and the who?
You.
I'm not talking about race. That's lineage. They've been
here
since
not lineage,
1880.
That's not lineage for them.
But they went through Jim Crow. That's lineage.
Prove it that they went through Jim Crow.
What do you mean prove it?
Prove it that they went through Jim Crow.
I don't know what you mean when you say that.
We know for a fact that Caribbean people, they say all the time, we don't have the same struggles as people who are already here, originating in this country have.
1880.
Is that not true?
We're talking about 1880.
Yeah, we talking about 1880. We know for a fact that they deliberately went and brought in Caribbean nurses in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
What's 1880? You still keep going to the 60s and 70s and 80s. We're talking about 1880.
I just don't believe it. I'm just telling you.
I don't know. What are you saying you don't believe?
I believe that when they came here, they still didn't go through the same things that people that was already in this country went through. I'm
You
sorry.
don't think they would deny loans, land, and stuff?
No.
That don't make sense.
It don't make sense. Well, if that's the case, it don't make sense that they're not denied. They have businesses now. They have all
Black
these.
people had businesses back then. Black Americans had businesses in the 1880s, 90s, 1900s.
So if
20s,
Black
30s,
Americans
40s, 50s.
had businesses, then why would they be denied businesses and loans?
No, you made the point broadly. They were denied, but there was some that cracked through. They got through and they would start their businesses and stuff. What? Right?
You talking about the Caribbean or the diaspora?
Americans.
What about Americans?
None of them had businesses.
Yeah, we know they had, but
during Jim Crow.
But they didn't get loans and stuff. They had to create their stuff themselves.
During Jim Crow.
Yeah, they had to do it themselves. They weren't going and getting loans from white people.
Some people were able to get loans.
Who?
Some of them got through. The point was that the laws in the books to make it harder. Some of them was able to get through.
We can go back and forth with this all day long.
There's no back and forth. You're literally saying
let's just disagree to agree. We're not going to agree on this, so let's just move on.
Disagree. Okay. The chair of the task force said that she supports the lineage-based standard and supports partnering with Black-owned genealogy and DNA companies to help. California, the 5th largest economy in the world, is making a declarative statement that we care about the descendants of enslaved. Yeah,
a state is the 5th largest economy in the world.
Do you understand how much wealth that means America has?
That means that California can literally separate from the United States and be okay.
5th most powerful, or I'm saying the 5th best economy, but they still don't have a military and stuff. That's like.
That's crazy that you have a state
that has a bigger economy than countries. But California is a big state.
And it has a lot of people there. They have, 39 million people?
That's more people than some countries, too. So, it's,
That's why if we didn't have the Electoral College,
Democrats would win every year.
They would win every year because based on California.
New York, Texas, and they win every year. Democrats.
Florida.
Now, Texas.
Well, Florida is a Republican state.
Florida Republican. Texas would be a battle. But because Republicans will win that, but Democrats will more than likely win every election because of California. And descendants of enslaved people, and we are committed to repaying them. Chairman Camilla Moore said. Member Lisa Holder said that she supports the tiered eligibility system that begins with direct descendants of slaves.
Who is Lisa Holder associated with?
Who?
In Cobra.
Oh yeah. But
that's why they got her ass on there.
Well, she also brought those 2 other people on to
and they were associated with Cobra too.
Yeah, but extends to others. In this moment, we have to embrace the concept that Black lives matter, not just a sliver of those Black lives, because Black lives are in danger, especially today.
Do we have any clips from the task?
No, I don't have any clips.
When that lady said,
I know what you're about to say.
When she said Black Americans are a little group, this little group, and somebody in the comment section said, y'all, she said,
this little
group. And by the way, she's Black American, and she defined us as a little group.
I think she was comparing you to the
versus,
overall.
I don't give a damn what she was compared to. That was disrespectful for you to call us. This little group is the one that is getting the reparations that you're trying to attach another littler group onto.
So wait.
We're a little group, but you're trying to attach this other smaller group onto us. These leeches. Because that's what they are.
I disagree.
I don't care what you disagree with.
I can't say I disagree.
I'm a flatline your ass. If you get
He gonna kill me because of my opinion. This is divisive. I'm like killing somebody.
I'm divisive. I'm xenophobic. I'm a pessimist.
Oh yeah, he got mad.
I was recently called a pessimist.
I'm not even getting to that.
By the A Mike over here, I was called the fucking pessimist.
Now he calling me A Mike. Listen, you understand that A Mike comment? That's from 7 months ago. You bringing up something from 7 months ago. Somebody look. Anyway, let's move on.
Do you think? Yeah. Anyway, they damn leeches.
I disagree. But listen, y'all remember we talked about before. Since we're talking about reparations, Oregon. You know, Oregon is for a long time a white-only state.
Yes,
on the books.
Yeah.
Washington was too? I feel like Washington.
Oregon and Washington are pretty much the same too. So here in Washington State, they have it's called the Central District, which is where the black people reside, and then they gentrified the Central District, and now you have niggas coming back to the Central District, and now they're trying to fund them and help them create more businesses, which is the same thing they're doing in Oregon. Yep. Remember,
they kick them out. And
they took over a whole block, and now we gentrified this area, and
let's give it back.
We have to give it back to them because we no longer want it.
What was the name of that? It was a woman who has a business in Seattle. In the
her grandmother,
historical black district, and she's trying to bring the restaurant back.
She's trying to bring back her grandmother's restaurant because
it was kicked out.
Not her grandmother, her mother.
Yeah,
because her mother is, I guess she's feeling better and she wants to get back into the kitchen. She has a restaurant, but this is what they do to black Americans.
See, this is what at some point we're gonna use the cameras. You can see the little slick eyes he just gave me.
This is what they do to black Americans. This is how we get terrorized in the country that we built. From the damn bottom.
See, you know who you sound like? You sound like what's his name? The baby looking dude who passed away.
What baby?
The what's his name?
John Lewis.
Yeah, I put blood in Selma. I spilled blood in Selma.
Well, I haven't spilled no blood here.
He got his ass whooped and lived off that ass whooping for his whole career.
But my ancestors have spilled blood here. Okay. So yes, I'm riding off of their coattails. I get to ride off their coattails.
Stand on their shoulders. That's how you supposed to do it. Ain't? Stand on your ancestors' shoulders.
That's what the Jewish community does.
Niggas
still receive money to this day, and nobody says a word about it.
You're not Israeli.
Oh, you're right. I'm not an Israeli at all.
This is what it is.
I'm from the nation of Israel. No, I'm not an Israeli. I'm not Jewish.
I'm not an ish like. But anyway. I said that I brought up Oregon to talk about. I saw something that recently revealed the same thing existed in Indiana.
There's a lot of Negroes in Indiana. Once you let one in, it's gonna be a flow of arrests coming in.
Article 13: Negroes and mulatto. This is in Indiana. Section 1: No Negro or mulatto shall come into or settle in the state after the adoption of this Constitution. Section 2: All contracts made with any Negro or mulatto. By the way, the word mulatto, when I looked it up, last time I looked it up, didn't it say it's a native and black person? Yes. But for some reason, it's connected more to a person who's black and white.
Yes.
So when it said mulatto, back in the day, that didn't mean black and white.
They could have meant black and black.
Yeah, because there were natives who were
black.
So you could be black and black,
or you could be the Mongoloid, which some of y'all desperately want to be, because you got good hair in your family.
My grandma told me
her hair was down her, and she used to carry that. No, nigga,
hold on.
They might have meant the black side, not no damn Mongoloid side.
We have people in our family saying the same thing. Our grandfather.
Yeah, I tell their asses the same thing too.
Our grandfather. It was alleged that he was native.
Yeah, black.
But I looked at the Negro, and it was the Negro I saw. Then when you got your DNA test thing back, they didn't give you no native. But then after a few years, they gave you 1%.
No, 2.
Oh my bad. Sorry, 2.
Don't sleep on my indigenous to this damn country. I got blood and soul in this damn country. I got 2% of damn Native American on my damn ancestry test. So don't tell me I ain't no fucking indigenous to this goddamn land.
Hey, listen, niggas be fighting for that.
Because we know damn well that we got blood and soul in this damn land, not just from the damn people that came here from the damn Russia, European and West Africa. We have people that was already here, and I ain't talking about the ones that came from Alaska, from Siberia and Mongolia
and China. As we saw, they admitted that those were the yellow people.
We black. You want to know what? You want to know what my DNA test said? It didn't say. It says Central and North American, Native American.
Not when these Asiatic.
Not Asiatic. There it says East Asian.
Yep. When a person who we consider
and Native American.
When a person we consider Native American get a test, they usually get East Asian.
East Asian. My DNA test didn't have no East Asian on it, which I don't believe that whole DNA test shit. Yeah, no way. That's some bullshit.
What they use that for is to trace where you have connections to based off of population haplogroups and stuff.
Exactly.
So it gives you an idea where your people were. But it'll definitely trace. Like on yours, it told you that we came through South Carolina.
We came
and
north,
migrated.
It said North and South Carolina.
Up to New Jersey and all
New Jersey and Pennsylvania,
New York, and all that. Yeah,
we had a little bit go to Georgia, and other little,
there's people all over the country.
But
Texas.
the Native American that I had was indigenous to the Americas. It was not indigenous to overseas, over the pond. I don't have nothing over there. So that's a difference between. That's why I say black indigenous, not mongoloid indigenous.
But listen, all contracts made with any Negro or mulatto coming into the state contrary to provisions of the foregoing section shall be void, and any person who shall employ such Negro or mulatto or otherwise encourages him to remain in the state shall be fined at any sum not less than $10 nor more than $500. All fines which may be collected for the violation of the provisions of this article or any law which hereafter be passed for the purpose of carrying the same into execution shall be set apart and appropriated for the colonization of such Negroes and mulattoes and their descendants as may be in the state at the adoption of this Constitution and may be willing to immigrate. The General Assembly shall pass laws to carry out the provisions of this article. Now, this can't be taught in school according to critical race theory.
Nope.
So this is what I was saying. Do I believe critical race theory, as far as how these people push it, is something that's necessarily no? A lot of them, they want to mix it and mean more than just black. It has to mean.
Well, if it's in the context of them directly speaking on the black experience, the Black American experience, because you have to specify nowadays, then I don't have a problem with critical race.
But we
theory
know it's
being
more
schooled.
than that.
Now, if they include that other bullshit, and you know what I'm talking about, that other bullshit, then it's like, well, damn, don't fucking include none of it then.
But this type of thing would not be allowed to be taught in school under anti-critical race theory laws and acts. But this is something you would want to know. But according to them, this is not necessarily necessary to know.
This is the bullshit we go through being a
here you go.
soul people here in the belly of the beast.
In the belly of the beast. All right.
But you know what you do when you're in the belly of the beast? You cut that shit open. You cut it wide open and you spill out. And you come out victorious, which is what we shall do.
We in the well. We in the well, I guess. But I'm going to show a certain form of justice, as some would say.
You know what? I need some more information on this story. Here I go again.
Conspiracy theorist.
So I read through the article.
Hold on, let me read it first. Not the whole thing. I'm just gonna read the title.
Please don't read the whole thing.
Keishon D. Thomas, 20. Fuck you. Has been identified as the man who died in the Milwaukee.
Read.
Milwaukee police holding cell Wednesday. So this guy here, he died in custody of police officers. And his parents and his family members obviously want justice. Now you read through the article. What did you get from it?
It's kind of strange. It reminds me of the whole Sandra Bland situation where he was in his cell for 16 hours and they had to go into his cell. They didn't really give details on what happened, but then they kind of threw out accusations saying they didn't test him for narcotics or drugs.
Yeah.
So that's leading to the illusion that they're saying that he had drugs or some type of pills, something in his system that caused him to have a reaction where they try to go in and resuscitate him and help him, and he ended up dying. So I kind of, in the autopsy said there was no foul play, there was no,
Yeah.
So I have to revisit this.
Wait and see what happens in a few months.
Because stuff just don't be adding up. Like, how do you drop somebody off for work, your sibling, and then you end up, you randomly pull you over in a traffic stop. You have a warrant from 2021 where you did not, failure to appear. It said it was a non-violent misdemeanor, but they never said what it was. It's like the article is very vague. It's not telling you too much detail.
Well, that's how you know there's not a lot of information being released.
That's what brings up the conspiracy type shit. Because this is a very simple thing. This happened February 23rd. This is now March 2nd. When did this article come out?
Hold on. This article came out on
February 23rd.
February 24th.
24th.
Well, it updated 24th, but it originally came out 23rd.
So by now,
we should have a little bit more information.
You should have more information. It's like
in a couple weeks.
What happened? I just don't like that they're trying to make it seem like
he might have been a drug addict.
He might be a drug addict.
Now, let me say this. Before we get to the next part, Y'all know the story that happened of the black girl who was on a social media dating app, and she ended up having a man come over, and next thing you know, next morning he wake up, call the cops, say this woman is dead in the bed. I don't know what happened. They let him go, say he's like a nice guy, nothing happened, and they conclude that she died to drugs in her system. And he was like, damn, that's messed up. What they talking about? How the hell did somebody just die? Then there was another case of another black woman who was on another dating site, called a man over, whatever. She ended up dying. He called the cops, says this woman is dead. Cops came. Oh, drugs. Another case came out recently of what it looked like a Spanish woman, might have been white. She invited a man over to do meth. Now, it was just, they knew exactly what happened to the story. She invited a man over for meth and sex. She ended up choking the man to death, cutting his head off, and chopping him up to a drug and sex-induced violent episode. And I said,
What's up with these Hispanics like chopping people up with machetes?
Well, what I really got from that is how pervasive is meth on dating sites now? That's the same thing they accused those two black women of being on. And opioids. I'm wondering, on these dating sites, are people just doing meth and other opioids with people to have sex and it's leading to their death?
Meth is it actually makes you more sexual.
Yeah.
When you do meth. It's almost like it keeps you from it keeps you from having
it's an upper.
You can go 3, 4, yeah. It's just a constant, yeah.
A lot of people who do meth, they have to do another drug to bring them down.
Yeah.
Like weed or something. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up because with him, as you said, they're accusing him of being on drugs, opioids or something, pills or meth.
Something.
It's like this seems to be growing amongst the black community.
Oh,
even in South Africa, meth is a big deal.
Recently there has been an uptick with Negroes here in Seattle doing meth.
And you
want to know why?
They with these white people.
They with these white,
and I hate to say
women. I'm gonna be Pacific. Yeah, it's the Negroes. It's the males that I personally see.
Yeah,
you with these white women, and I'm sure it's a couple of sisters out here that's with these white dudes too. And y'all done let their ass
put their energy on
you, and now you on it. That was not designed for you.
And that's what the allegations against those two black women I was talking about. The men they were with were white.
The meth, the Most High let that be for white people. But once again, y'all can't stay away from their asses.
And now you pulled down.
You gotta be around them.
You've been pulled down with Roger Rabbit.
And you've been pulled down. And when I see you, I just look at you and shake my head and keep on moving. I tally your hootie on your ass. I just look at you, shake my head, and keep walking.
All right. Let's go to the next part of this, the justice part. So, after he was found dead in a cell,
his friend,
or a man, should I say, went into the police station and shot it up. I'm about to get to that. A man went into
don't say his man.
Don't say a man.
Okay, because the brother had 2 children.
Hold on. Somebody could be your man. Like, that's my man's. That's a New York saying.
I don't say that shit. New Yorkers are a different breed. Don't be walking around here talking about that's my man's. New Yorker always, they the ones that say, suck my.
They say pause too, though. That's Harlem niggas. They say pause.
Yeah, why they say pause?
Because in case they say something that can be taken a certain way, they say pause.
Because they on the down, they don't want people to know. That's why they say that shit. Don't be going around talking about my man's. That's my friend.
All right, man. All right. So his friend. I'm sorry. I'm making me. A dude.
Yeah, I'm making you nervous.
No. Fuck you. A dude went into
a shaking, sweating.
Like a hoe in church. But a dude went into a police station and shot it up. And they was like, who is the dude? Who is the suspect? It turned out to be the friend of the kid who was shot. You see here, suspect in shooting at Milwaukee's District 5 police station reached breaking point after friend died in custody. Girlfriend says.
A hoe in church is different from a Jezebel. A hoe in church is scared because she know that she about to get cut by the pastor. A Jezebel hope a president singles her out and exposes her so she can do battle with his ass. That's the difference between a hoe and a Jezebel.
He had to get it off, y'all. He had to get that one off. But the girlfriend of the man who allegedly opened fire in Milwaukee Police District Station last week said he reached a breaking point when his best friend died in police custody days before. Angel Harrell said her partner of 2 years, Darreon Parker-Bell, 23, was like a brother to Keishon D. Thomas, 20, who died Wednesday in a holding cell at a District 5 station, 29, I know the address, after spending roughly 16 hours in custody. Harrell identified Parker-Bell as a suspect who police say fired several shots. Why would you identify him? I guess you can't lie if you're under. You got to say you know who it is.
Yeah.
In the district front lobby 2 days later, nobody was injured, and after the officer returned fire, the suspect fled on foot and encountered more police about 2 blocks away. Several officers opened fire on the man, injuring him. He remained hospitalized as of Monday, according to Robert Fletcher, deputy chief of the West Allis Police Department and the lead outside agency investigating the incident.
I'm surprised he walked away with this with just injuries. I just knew when I read this article that it was going to say dead.
Now that's him there with the dog.
Toto.
Let me say this. Now I don't know. He might obviously the tattoo on his face, the fact that he had a gun. More than likely, he was a street nigga. If you're a street nigga and a nigga from another a brother, another black man from another neighborhood kills your friend, and you come to the conclusion you're gonna ride for your friend against that other black man, I at least expect you, when your friend died at the hands of police, to be willing to ride on them as well.
And he did. This is like the first story I ever heard of, which I know it's not the first story.
Now, just like in the hood, he missed every damn shot. Luckily,
except for if it would have been a little black girl, kid, or if it would have been a nigga in there,
a little black girl or a little black boy would have got shot. They would have got hit. But just like in the hood, they missed the target. But he was willing to do it. All the people who preach this revolution, and he did it.
Yeah, he did.
He did it.
And it's we're not.
I'm about to say, if you're one of those people that say, we need to be doing this, we need to do that, we need to do it. If you do it and show how to do it right, people will follow you.
We're not condoning violence on this channel, but what we're saying
let me
is...
Let me clean it up. Hold on. If you're going to talk...
We about to get flagged.
No, if you're going to talk that way, do it. If you're not going to do it, don't talk that way.
Walk the walk.
If you're not going to do it, don't talk that way. That's
and this young brother right here...
He did it.
He felt like his friend... They lying about the story, which we all...
Probably agree, yeah.
Probably agree with. They lying about, because he's like, hey... It ain't adding up for me. That ain't my friend.
That ain't what he would do.
He went and, did what he had to do for his friend. But,
Now, more than likely, I wish he wouldn't have, because now you sacrifice your future and you didn't even get anything out of it.
Yeah,
your friend is dead and you didn't even get, you didn't
take nobody out. That's what you're trying to say?
See, I'm about to say it a different way. You didn't accomplish your mission, so now you're going to lose your future.
He didn't accomplish his mission because, can't aim. Niggas only aim in one area.
Them bullseye.
We don't miss that. That's a bullseye. Yeah. But when it comes to shooting, not that type of shooting, but, with the gun.
With the other gun.
We miss. But we don't shoot blanks.
So, yeah, I just thought that's a story. I didn't even know about that story until I saw it. I was like, yeah, I thought the story would be a little bit bigger.
We'll let you know niggas are lovers, not fighters.
There you go. We some regular Casanovas.
Yeah, we like lions. We only attack when, when
we're hungry.
When we're hungry, or when you are trying to embark on our territory. We'll come in a pack and take your ass out.
No, that's the lioness. She coming pack.
Well, no, the male lions come in pack too when they brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And in the same pride.
Yeah.
They'll fend off a lion coming in, or lion brothers coming in trying to take over their pride too. But yeah, the lionesses are our sisters. They don't play. We send them to go take down the prey, and then we come in to finish them off.
Yeah, that's how it go.
It's a team. If only we can get back on that team.
Let's come back.
And it's a pride of lioness, and normally it's only one male with 5 lions.
Oh, you talking something that causes a war. Please stop.
Now, sometimes there's brothers.
All right, stop. We moving on.
And there's 5 or 6 lions, and they share those lions, but eventually
We're moving on.
The brothers lions have to venture off, and it's just one lion with 5 lionesses.
Having cubs.
And, being sister wives.
Oh, Lord. That's a curse word. All right, listen.
They're like, Travis need to shut the hell up.
Travis, you wicked. All right. Putin, we got to talk about the fact that niggas are really not acting like this is a serious situation. We laughing right now, but
I ain't laughing.
last week,
I take it seriously.
No, I'm saying we really ain't. I see a lot of people across social media, and it's like people really ain't, especially in mainstream media, they're mocking this man for threatening nuclear war. It's like, you know what he said? He said if you do anything in Ukraine, it's on its own.
I would tell anybody, go ahead and stock them on your top ramen, your Chef D, your canned goods, have water on hand, have food that comes in little tubs, 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds. Have survivor kits, have the tube thing where you take the water that upon and you comes out clean.
Survivor bag and stuff.
I would tell y'all, not just for this, but just in general, because there is going to come a time where...
Don't even get it to prepare for nuclear war. Get it to prepare for shortages.
Yeah.
Food shortages are coming.
Like, wings are $15, $20. And you know, black people was already complaining about wings when it was $9. They were like, $9 for a damn pack of wings? Shit.
Gas, I've seen pictures, I don't know if they're real, but I've seen gas at $9, $8, $5 a gallon.
I saw a picture today, and the highest one was $5.15.
I saw one at $7. Now, I think
what area you in.
I think the 9 and the 8 one were glitched, but I seen one that the dude was like, it's $7 here.
I mean,
the gas is going. I think $1. I think gas right now is $1.06, $1.09 a gallon, right? $1.09. I'm sorry, $106, $109 a barrel. So the more it goes up, the higher your gas.
I mean, it's pretty bad. Even ground beef. I don't eat meat, but ground beef is expensive. All this, it's just
And grain is what's the thing that's in is it wheat?
Wheat.
Is it wheat?
And what?
That goes in noodles and stuff. Bread.
Yeah, flour, wheat.
Yeah, wheat.
Depends on what it is.
Y'all do know that Ukraine and Russia account for 30% of the world supply of wheat. So bread is you can have bread for $15 a loaf.
Not $15.
$10 a loaf.
I think you have it for about right now.
No, if it goes up, it can get.
I think it'd be about $5, $5 or $6.
Okay, what the scripture say? That bread would be the price of gold.
Well, bread would be the hour wage, be a wage. So that's crazy how the minimum wage is going up $15, $20, and your bread may be
about the same price as your wages.
What you making per hour? Because that's per hour.
What you gonna do when bread costs $10 a loaf?
Make my own bread.
You know niggas love bread with their chicken. I remember grandma growing up. Hand me that light.
Yeah, they call in the South they call bread lightning bread.
They call it lightning bread. Hand me that lightning bread.
Like our grandmother used to eat banana and mayo sandwiches. This is not.
I had it before. It's not bad.
It's Miracle Whip.
Yes.
Not Best Foods or Hellman's or Dukes.
They used to use Dukes too.
No, she used Miracle Whip.
But they used Dukes as well.
And back then, when I was little, I used to love Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
But now,
oh my God,
man, you put that shit next to me. That's diabetes. It's so sweet. I haven't tasted it in at least 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
But the last time I tasted it, I was like, this shit is sweet. Is this mayo or is this a salad dressing?
It is a salad dressing. Ain't it?
It is a salad dressing.
A salad dressing.
But niggas used it for like sandwiches. You put that on a bologna sandwich.
Yeah.
A ham sandwich, a turkey sandwich,
a little lettuce and cheese,
a roast beef sandwich.
Remember our Uncle Gary, he used to put a piece of bread, meat, cheese, lettuce, piece of bread, meat, cheese, lettuce, and another piece of bread.
But yeah, you know that bread make your butt stick out. That's the saying.
That's our saying. But bread gonna take your ass sticking out.
That's what our uncle said.
Gary,
you know that bread
make your ass stick out.
Bread make your ass stick out.
Okay, but back to this. But yeah, prepare for a shortage is more than just as much as a possible nuclear war that can happen. Yeah, but Putin's nuclear war alert is prompting Europeans to panic by iodine as they think it may protect them from radiation. Reports say Russian President Vladimir Putin's nuclear alert is prompting Europeans to panic by iodine because they believe it may protect them from radiation poisoning. The bomb is what we need to worry about first. The explosion.
Y'all remember the show Jericho?
I put you onto that show.
You did put me onto that show.
It really should have lasted like another season or two. But a lot of those shows that came on between 2000 and 2009.
It's about the apocalypse?
No. There were shows that were really good that people didn't watch until after they went off, and then they became cult classics. Like Jericho. The Wire was not popular when it was on. It didn't get popular until it came to DVD. Then it became this cult classic show. Yep. Most good shows are not watched when they're actually on. They don't get watched until they're about to go off. But what you about to say with Jericho?
No, I'm just saying this is like Jericho. You know, them being isolated. The United States splits up into
was it 3 or 2?
It was 3. They had
Texas
3.
became its own place, yeah.
Which tells you now that's interesting in the show that Texas became its own country.
Everybody knows Texas wanted to become its own country.
Texas has been wanting to become its own country since forever.
Texas, Washington, California, all these countries. I said countries. All these states at one point wanted to be 2 states called what was it? Lincoln and Jefferson.
Washington wanted to be Washington and Lincoln.
Yeah,
or Jefferson.
Yeah, every state at some point wanted to be 2 states and wanted to be called Lincoln and Jefferson. For some reason, every state wanted to be named after those 2 presidents.
Yeah,
yeah. But
even a part of Oklahoma and Texas wanted to come together and name it what? Texahoma?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
Texas-oma.
This is what happened in this is the Moscow Times. I'm surprised we still can get news from Russia. They starting to black them out in a lot of countries.
Don't get rid of RT.
Yeah, RT. They're trying to block a lot of these countries. RT is not on Twitter anymore, I think they've been blocked on Twitter. I can't remember.
No, I think I saw it today.
I don't know. I think they were. Maybe they got back on. I don't know. This is Moscow Times. You see here that why now this is on a Russian funded news station. This is like their Fox News. Allegedly Vladimir
Australia Sky what's it called?
Sky News.
Sky News. I love
the same way Trump used to like Fox News, that's how Putin allegedly likes this network. Tucker Clarkson. The way Trump like him, this is their Tucker.
Okay.
And Vladimir Putin likes to watch him. And look what he said. Why do we need a world if Russia is not in it? State TV presenter open show with an ominous address.
So if Russia's not a part of the world, then let's destroy it all.
What the point he's making is, if y'all gonna destroy us and take us all out of this world and say we shouldn't exist,
destroy the world,
then we just destroy it all. What's the point? I mean, from their point of view,
if they're not here, nobody else don't need to be here.
Exactly. We're just as valuable. According to this is their point of view. We're just as valuable as anybody else on this planet.
Or more valuable.
So why should we be told we shouldn't be able to exist?
I already think who I think Magog and Gog is.
But a lot of this, you're starting to see a lot of these government officials and TV anchors, and they're starting to say stuff like they want to destroy Russia's economy. You see all the sanctions they're getting. They're trying to block their oil sales. They're trying to really bankrupt Russia. Because this stuff is all tied together. If you remember something called the Bolshevik Revolution, that was it was in
1917.
Yeah. Basically, that was a communist Jewish revolution. They took over the palace and stuff. They cut people's heads off. They performed cannibalism. It was some crazy stuff. They took over the country for about 70 years or so. And then well after that, when the Soviet Union fell.
It was in Poland too.
Yeah, exactly. That was all part of Russia at one point. Ukraine was Russia. So
Alaska too. I keep saying that.
So after they got kicked out of Russia, you got to keep in mind that these people didn't just go away. Russia has been a target since for at least 30 years now. Remember the Red Scare and all this stuff? The Soviet Union, how they went back and forth with them, and then the Soviet Union fell, and Russia had made a deal with NATO that they wouldn't expand to the east. They are doing it right now, which is why what's going on is going on. Guess who's leading Ukraine right now? A Jewish man. What is Putin accusing the Ukrainians of being? Nazis. He's accusing them of being Nazis. The same thing is happening now. It's almost like they're back to take back what they lost back then. So we're going to connect that in a bit. Hold on. Let me go to this. I want to show you what the United States government is saying you should do if a nuclear blast happens. This is ready.gov. It's the United States plan for what you should do if the nuclear bomb went off. Nuclear explosion. Nuclear explosion can cause significant damage and casualties from blast, heat, and radiation, but you can keep your family safe by knowing what to do and being prepared if it occurs. Now that's what they say. Now listen to this. After they tell you what to do, this right here, it says, get inside. Look at this one right here. Go to the basement or middle of the building. Stay away from the outer walls and roof. Try to maintain a distance of at least 6 feet between yourself and people who are not part of your household. If possible, wear a mask if you're sheltering with people who are not part of your household. Children under 2 years old, people have trouble breathing, and those who are unable to remove masks on their own should not wear them. Listen, people.
So we've just been hit by a bomb,
and you should be worried about staying 6 feet apart. Social distancing and masking.
Don't nobody give a damn about no mask.
So imagine looking at your window. I'm looking at the window right now. A bomb goes off, and the first thing you say to the person standing next to you is,
Put your mask on. Stay 6 feet away from me. I'm gonna whoop your ass if you come close to me.
These people are talking about COVID rules if a nuclear bomb goes off.
Man.
Listen, stay inside. Stay inside for 24 hours unless local authorities provide other instructions. Continue to practice social distancing by wearing a mask and by keeping a distance of at least 6 feet between yourself and people who are not part of your household.
Yeah. This is what we have to deal with.
Oh my God. Listen to this. While commuting, identify appropriate shelter to seek in an event of detonation. Due to COVID-19, many places you may pass on the way to and from work may be closed or may not have regular operating hours.
And when was this article put out?
No, this is recently. They updated this. These people, listen to this. This is survived during. When you have reached a safe place, try to maintain a distance of at least 6 feet between yourself and people who are not part of your household. If possible, wear a mask. You get it.
Yeah, they get it.
This is insane. You have the people that's leading your country telling you that if a nuclear bomb goes off, to make sure you're socially distancing and wearing masks. The last thing you're going to be worried about.
All bets are off. When that damn bomb hit, you ain't going to be worried about no mask. If somebody come in your face talking about fucking mask, they going to get it rocked. That's pretty much it.
Get rocked out the gate.
It's like, if you don't get
you don't get out my damn
face.
Man,
let's stomp his ass out.
Oh my God. It's just, all right. I want to show y'all something else as to why this dude came to a conclusion as to why he believed they are in Ukraine. He got immediately banned from Twitter.
Holy.
Now look at this. War clandestine. That was his Twitter. He said, holy shit. I think I'm onto something with Ukraine. Zelensky, who is the president of Ukraine, said the Russians are firing at military installations. How broad is that term? I'm seeing speculation that could include U.S. installed biolabs. At first, I was like, no way. Then I started digging.
Zelensky, the Cabana boy.
Oh, we're going to get to that. Now, these are the alleged, this is not proven, biolabs in Ukraine. Now, Ukraine came out and said that America has no biolabs there, that they work with Ukraine to make sure they go through certain things to protect themselves from certain events in their country. They saying that, America doesn't have labs in our country. They simply work with us at our lab.
We believe you.
You see exclusive U.S. biolabs in Ukraine, and they are financed at the expense of the U.S. Department of Defense. The laboratories are located in Odessa. They name all the places that they're located. 2 other possible locations. All right. Now, when I saw this, obviously, look at this. Twitter, this dude right here took the pictures of the account and posted it. And Twitter flagged it and says, stay informed. The media is presented out of context. They didn't say it's a lie. They said it's out of context. Now look at this. No foreign biological laboratories operate in Ukraine. U.S. Embassy and Snopes, who you should not trust. Snopes is not something you should trust, say. So obviously you had a whole bunch of people coming out saying this is false. These are not biolabs. You see here in Ukraine, the U.S. Department of Defense Biological Threat Reduction Program works with the Ukrainian government to consolidate and secure pathogens and toxins of security concern in Ukrainian government facilities while allowing for peaceful research and vaccine development. We also work with our Ukrainian partners to ensure Ukraine can detect and report outbreaks caused by dangerous pathogens before they pose security or stability threats. I'm gonna leave it there because
getting dangerous.
I'm sure they're not telling the truth there, but I can't prove it. So
we're positive.
All right, man. We're gonna take a quick one, right quick. All right, back with this. All right, so next topic. Africans in Ukraine.
Hold your own nuts.
So while Putin was saying he wanted to do nuclear war, or willing to do nuclear war if America or the NATO interfered with the Ukraine situation, that he was willing to, like the dude said, if Russia shouldn't exist, if Russia can't exist, then no country should exist.
Exactly.
Why should there be an Earth without Russia? While that was happening, the Africans in Ukraine, there was a lot of students, medical students and such, that were in the country for educational reasons, and they got trapped. As you can see here, thousands of African students who went to Ukraine to train to become doctors and engineers scrambled to escape the Russian offensive. Ukraine is home to thousands of African students who study medicine, engineering, and other technical fields at affordable prices compared to the rest of Europe and the United States. So they went to the country for training in medicine and engineering and other technical fields.
Don't they have that in Nigeria already?
Well, these countries are wealthier, so they have they have higher level education or more training, higher level. The training you get will give you a higher skill set, a better skill set.
But haven't they left enough and came back to Nigeria enough to where they should have enough?
Well, we saw that guy
people on hand that have the training to teach the Nigerian people.
What's the guy named Searching for Uru? He got a video where he's saying he's a Pan-Africanist. And he's saying that he's a Pan-Africanist, or maybe you could say ex-Pan-African the way he's talking. He's saying that he believes that anybody who comes from the continental Africa, anybody who comes from the continent and comes to America, in particular because he's American, but I would guess you could use the same thing for places like Ukraine or other places in Europe. If you come to these countries to get training, you should be willing to go back to your country to help build it back up.
Because it's an investment plan. Like, we're sending you off to go to a country to get the set of skills and the education for you then to come back and apply that to your own country. But a lot of them are not returning back to their country. They're staying. And that's a problem.
Yeah, they are. Hold on. There you go. All right. What were you saying?
I was just saying they're not coming back to the country.
Yeah.
To apply the information that they've retained and give it to the citizens.
A lot of them.
A lot of them.
A lot of them do come to get education. But in Ukraine, they were telling stories at the border and such, where they were being forced to not allowed to come in and get on trains and stuff. I'm going to show that now. You see here, this is a guy I would imagine he's Nigerian. All the people I saw who were commenting on Twitter Space and stuff, they were Nigerians.
They're always Nigerians.
Train to Poland, got here. I and other two Africans entered first. A few minutes later, the police came in and dragged us down from our cabin. Only Ukrainians are allowed. I don't blame them though. I blame African leaders.
Why do he blame African leaders?
Because he feels like African leaders are not looking to protect their citizens abroad as much.
Well, if your ass didn't leave your country, they wouldn't have to protect.
Well, that's not a good argument, Because America is known, if an American is in your country and something happens to them, unless your name is, what's the kid name who went to Greece and was beaten to death because he was talking to some white chick? He got beaten to death, and just recently, the guys who beat him to death got off. I thought they got sentenced to prison like 3 years ago. No,
they got off.
But they got off. The kid was from Texas. Bakari something. Sellers.
Yeah.
Bakari Sellers, I think is his name. The kid who went to Greece, a black American kid from Texas. I believe he was black American. No, he was American. He went to Greece and with two of his friends who were Caucasian.
Bakari Henderson.
Okay. Bakari Sellers is the politician.
That's the one that Duke say every time you say what it is. Yeah. Had an intervention live.
Yeah, but Bakari Henderson was the kid who he was from Texas. He went to Greece with his two friends who were Caucasian. He went to a bar alone while they were still in the hotel. He was talking to someone. Next thing you know, he ended up swinging off on somebody. They ended up throwing a bottle across his head and chasing him out of the place and beating him to death. And it was an unfortunate situation. But he was American and he got no support. Normally, if an American dies in your country, it is international news, and it's like you better make sure justice happens.
And justice did not happen in that case.
They got off. I was like, how? It's literally on video.
Yep.
But
stop talking to them white girls.
But black man, protect yourself at all times. Make sure you know your surroundings. But anyway, back to this. Been at a Poland-Ukraine border for the past 5 hours, and they're segregating Ukrainians on the other side, Africans and other foreigners on the other side. Like 100 Ukrainians
then it's not just Africans then. He said Africans and other foreigners. So it's not just y'all they doing this to. They doing it to anybody that is not a Ukrainian. So stop with the fucking bullshit.
Like for 100 Ukrainians first, then 2 Africans and other foreigners. Well, if their citizens leave, who will fight for them? We? Also, I see no African women crossing since they said women and children first. So let's not deceive ourselves.
So wait a minute. You want to reap from the benefits of receiving their education and their lower cost of their education and all this stuff, but then you don't want to fight for the country that you're in?
That's a terrible argument.
No, it's not a terrible argument.
I'm here for as a student.
The country is allowing you to come in and receive this education.
Foreign exchange students actually benefit a country.
Okay.
Brings esteem to their colleges and stuff. When people from other countries, they're what they call a brain drain.
Anyway, he trying to make it seem like it's just Africans. He clearly saying it's Africans and other foreigners.
But it's clearly more Africans.
Okay. They chose to go there.
We had to start shouting and pushing African women to the train, so they had no other option than to allow them since they said women and children first. It wasn't the case either earlier.
But didn't they get him 3 weeks in advance for them to
we can say that about the Ukrainians too.
Yeah, we can.
So what's the difference?
The difference is you are a foreigner in this country.
They're a student.
So when the time comes for them to start evacuating, they're obviously going to make their people a priority. Is that wrong?
I agree with that part.
Okay.
Naturally, you should make the locals, the people who are the quote unquote indigenous people, they're going to get.
So wouldn't Nigeria do the same thing? Get their people out and then start working through and getting the foreign people out of their country?
The point he's making is they're saying that this is not happening. He's saying it is happening.
Well, they're saying it's not happening. They're lying because they're trying to make the Ukraine look not as shitty
they're
as they
Nazis. The point, they're Nazis. We know they're Nazis. We talked about this last. They're Nazis.
Well, they chose to go to a Nazi country.
They went there for education. What's the difference in coming to America then? It's Nazis here too.
Exactly. I tell you to stay in your own
So you think black Americans should leave then?
Leave where?
American.
Why? Wait a minute. Hold on.
Because a Nazi
You're
country?
Comparing. No. We're not foreigners to
But
this
it's a Nazi country.
We're not foreigners.
It has Nazis in it.
That's them going into the Ukraine. They are not native to that country.
It's Nazis in America too.
It's Nazis everywhere.
Okay.
I don't know how did you make a comparison?
You said that they shouldn't come to America. Or sorry, they shouldn't go to Ukraine if they know there's Nazis there.
Exactly.
You said they shouldn't come to America. They know there's Nazis here. Yeah. But you're saying black Americans should stay even though there's Nazis here.
How you going to put Nigerians and black people on the same level? The difference is, this is where we reside. The Africans, the Nigerians don't, that's not their country. The Ukraine is not their country. They chose to go there to further their education and the career that they're in. That's the difference.
But there's Nazis in America.
There's Nazis everywhere.
Should Black Americans leave?
Not till we get our reparations. When we get our reparations, we'll
okay,
go.
Okay. Africans in Ukraine. You know the funniest part? We all knew that this would be the last. That we would be the last to enter. So we always wait until they were satisfied with boarding their people. Then the remaining small space, we Africans rush in like wild animals and pile up like luggages. 8-9 hour journey.
I'm not gonna say anything about the last thing he said.
What?
Nothing.
Told you what's going on.
What's going on?
Watch
Don't
now.
try to, no. What's going on?
Watch
What's going on?
Nothing.
No. Don't try to glance over that last part. What's going on?
Watch how
express what you feel.
I already said what I said.
No, you said I told y'all this going on. So what you? Oh. So what you trying to say?
If you're not willing to say what you were gonna say a while ago,
like what?
What were you about to say at this?
Oh, we Africans rushed in like wild animals and piled up like luggages. 9-hour journey. Well, if the shoe fits.
You calling them animals?
That's not what I said. You taking what I said is that.
What are you saying then?
I'm not saying nothing.
Hey, so you gonna say it? I ain't gotta say nothing.
Cause you a coward. You won't say what you gotta say.
You ain't saying what you want to say.
If he felt like they animals piling up on the damn train, then he classified himself as animals.
No. What you gonna say?
He feels like they
exactly.
animals.
You ain't gonna say it. Watch how.
So you can't say what you're gonna say. You're a coward.
Watch how they are threatening to shoot us. Well, currently at the Ukraine-Poland border, the police and the army refuse to let Africans across. They only allow Ukrainian. Some have slept here for 2 days under the scorching cold weather, while many have gone back to Levi. We have met Africans at the border. They have been here for 2 days, but Ukrainian police and army refuse to let them pass. So that was an account. Go ahead.
Wasn't there a lady that walked 12 hours?
You talking about? Oh, yeah, to the Poland border, yeah.
The Poland border?
Yeah.
So she was really trying to get the fuck out of there. She's like, I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to be the one that tells the story.
I'm going to tell this damn story. I made it.
Oh, she made it.
Let me show y'all this right quick.
Yes.
Here?
Yes, I can hear.
All right. Ukraine files genocide case against Russia. At UN's top court, Ukraine has launched a case against Russia at the United Nations highest court, accusing Moscow of planning genocide and asking for the court to intervene to halt the invasion and order Russia to pay reparations. This is February 27th.
Everybody want reparations.
Netherlands, Ukraine launches a case against Russia at the United Nations highest court, accusing Moscow of planning genocide and asking the court to intervene to halt the invasion and order Russians to pay reparations.
Ever since Black Americans have been talking about reparations, now everybody want reparations. It's crazy.
People were getting it before. They got it before, so they really copying?
Yes, they're copying.
If they got it before you, they can't be copying you.
Did Ukraine get reparations before?
I'm talking about other people.
Who? The Japanese people?
Yeah, all them.
That was something that the American government just decided to do. I don't think the Japanese people were campaigning for reparations. I think that's just something that they felt guilty that they did, and they awarded them reparations.
They had to campaign for it to get it.
I don't think they campaigned for it.
Oh, they campaigned for it. Now watch this right here. This is
Did the Asian people have to campaign to get reparations right now, or did the government just give it to them?
What Asian people?
The $10 million.
That's not reparations.
I know it's funding. Not. It's funding, but it's also a sort of reparations.
It's not reparations.
Yes, it is.
It's not reparations.
They're giving them money because they feel like they suffered losses during COVID-19.
That ain't reparations.
Due to the fact that Asian people were being attacked and ostracized due to the fact that the quote unquote coronavirus came from the Wuhan lab. So people automatically associated that with the Asians.
That's not what they're saying. They're just saying they had financial hardship. They just gave money.
Why did they have financial hardship?
Because everybody had financial hardship.
So COVID. If everybody had financial hardship, why only
because the Asians have political, they got together politically and fought for it.
No, they're associating COVID-19 with the Asian people. That's what they're doing.
Please don't do this. Don't do this.
So as you can see, there was a lot of back and forth there, and they were not going to let them get on that train
because they viewed their citizens as a higher importance than allowing foreigners to get on the train.
When that's not, it was supposed to be women and children.
They view that their women and children should go first, and for the other women and children of foreigners to go first.
They allow women and children, but they didn't allow African women and children. They were letting men on before they were letting their African.
They let men on that train.
They would let men on before they allow African women and children on.
Did you see men getting on that train?
I'm going based off the account they're giving.
Of who's giving?
The African, the dude. Their account,
I didn't see it, so
they were allowing more. They were allowing their women and children. And you go, okay. Then they were allowing, according to them, men, and then they were sprinkling a few of them.
Well, if they did that, that was fucked up. That was messed up. If they said women and children are supposed to go first, and they didn't allow the African and other foreigner people to get on that train who were women and children over men.
Here's no more video.
Why? Yes, why?
What kind of lessons?
What is this?
So they were taking some of them off of the bus and trains. You see here, while the world sympathizes with the situation in your country, why are you harassing and segregating Africans trying to cross the Polish border? They were talking about how racist Poland is. Polish people are in the situation as well, how they were stopping them from crossing the border. I'm going to show this one as well.
Oh my God.
Go on live on Instagram. We don't have arms. We don't have arms. We are students. We are students. What the fuck is happening?
Well, we don't run.
We don't have arms.
We got nothing.
We don't have arms. We have nothing. We are students. 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 What's up? We are students. We are students.
You don't understand. But you're not black, so you cannot solve.
Dude, they can't shoot us off. Thank you. Thank you.
Seems like they try to bum rush the border there at the end. I guess they were they threatened to be shot? Couldn't it just go?
I don't know what was going on.
Another thing I want to show is the Ukrainian TV coverage that they're giving. We proved it last video or last show. These people are Nazis. I'm going to play a couple videos that further proves this. Listen to what this guy had to say.
I'm sorry. It's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed, children being killed every day with Putin's missiles and his helicopters and his rockets.
And so, of course, I understand and respect the emotion. What you are outlining there is this tension between longer-term efforts to apply pressure to Vladimir Putin, such as financial sanctions, and the very immediate military threat which you're experiencing.
The man said he's saddened seeing blue-eyed, blind people.
And he got dark hair and blue eye. I mean, dark hair and dark eyes. And he's talking about he's
the
sad.
calculus.
Now listen to this one.
Now with the Russians marching in, it's changed the calculus entirely. Tens of thousands of people have tried to flee the city. There will be many more. People are hiding out in bomb shelters. But this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen.
He just said they're civilized.
But y'all was bombing the hell out of one another and tearing up your buildings too. Then the World
War I and II, 2 world wars.
Y'all
happening.
just recently became civilized because we civilized y'all asses.
Happen. So it's partly human nature, but they are not in denial.
Delusional. Y'all asses had to be shaved down.
Matthew, we're playing in the latest pictures of some of the refugees trying to get on trains or trying to get out of Ukraine. And what's compelling is just looking at them, the way they're dressed. These are prosperous, I'm loath to use the expression, these are prosperous middle-class people. These are not obviously refugees trying to get away from areas in the Middle East that are still in a big state of war. These are not people trying to get away from areas in North Africa. They look like any European family that you would live next door to.
These are white people.
Exactly. That's exactly what he's saying.
These aren't the enemy. These are your fellow white people. Why aren't they allowed in?
Dans une ville européenne et on a des tirs de missiles de croisière comme si on était en Irak ou en Afghanistan. Vous imaginez? On est au 21e siècle, on est dans une ville européenne et on a des tirs de missiles de croisière comme si on était en Irak ou en Afghanistan.
Well, he's saying here, we're in the 21st century. We are in a European city and we have cruise missiles fired as though we are in Iraq or Afghanistan. Can you imagine? You've been bombing those countries. Those are your rockets going on in those countries.
For decades, y'all been bombing them. And now the missiles have come at y'all front door.
Yeah, say the Daily Telegraph. This time, war is wrong because the people look like us and have Instagram and Netflix accounts. It is not a poor, remote country anymore. Vladimir Putin's monstrous invasion is an attack on civilization itself. It's an attack on democracy, I guess you could say. Listen to this one.
Unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
It's Robert Moore here in the studio.
So it's okay to
bomb
third world countries that already have not been developed and already don't look the best. So we can blow their asses up. But this is a developed country. So we can do that.
Pologne, parce que ça va être une question importante. Et on parle pas là de Syriens qui fuient les bombardements du régime syrien soutenu par.
Here, apparently, this guy is saying it is an important question. We're not talking about Syrians fleeing. We're talking about Europeans. If you speak French, sample this for me. So he went on and showed all these examples of.
To be fair, the US has used before in Afghanistan, but the idea of it being used in Europe is stomach churn.
So they seem to be focused more on the idea that a country near Europe, on the European continent, oh my God, there's bombs going off here. You can't do this. You can't have bombs come off here. Now, another one I want to show. This is the, remember that battalion I was talking about, the Azov battalion, the literal Nazis, neo-Nazis. This is a video of a guy saying he's loading a gun with grease with, I think it's pig fat, so that they can kill Muslims. Watch this.
Шановні друзі мусульмани, до раю в нашій країні вас не пустять. Не пустять до раю. Їдьте додому, будь ласка. Бо тут вам халепа буде. Дякую за увагу.
That's going on over there. This type of stuff they're doing. Let's see what else has got next. Hold on. This is a comment given by somebody who's given the neo-Nazis credit for the military in Ukraine. Listen to this.
Але стільки зброї не тому, що ми хороші, як нам кажуть, нам допомагає Захід, бо вони хочуть нам блага, тому що ми виконуємо задачі Заходу. Тому що ми єдині, хто готові їх виконувати, бо нам весело, нам прикольно убивати і прикольно воювати. І вони думають, вау, давайте вже подивимося, що це буде. Тому виник цей новий альянс, про який зараз говорять там Туреччина, Польща, Британія, Україна. Тут ми тут флагман. Тому що ми затіяли війну, якої не було вже останніх 60 років. Так от, Уявіть собі, скільки в нас зброї, скільки в нас ветеранів. А тепер уявіть, зникає Росія, вона розвалюється. Тобто виникає там 5 Росій, там Неда Росії і так далі. На європейському континенті найбільше. Тільки в Британії там, здається, більше. Ви розумієте, цей потенціал цих збройних сил, це стане проблемою зразу для всіх, хто зараз там десь там намагається робити хенькі уколи. І оце от є наша радість і наша печаль. Чому, щоб ви розуміли, чому так все важко? Не тому, що ми, українці, 300 років, наша дупа страждала, чому ж нарешті влада до нас не впаде, ми такі хороші, ми хочемо в Європу. Ні, це величезна, потужна держава, і якщо ми тут прийдемо до влади, це буде і радість, і проблеми для всього світу.
Now he's saying we getting these weapons. But this is not so we can help. This is not because the West wants to help us and stuff. It's because we are willing to go to war with Russia, which the rest of the world isn't. Then he said we're going to turn this into making us, Ukrainians, a superpower, basically.
Тому це величезна амбітна задача. Ми живемо дуже в класний час, і тому перед нами стоять надзвичайно амбітна, класна ціль. Не просто стати там частинкою європейської сім'ї, яка вже там розвалилася, а це є, вже йдеться про те, що нові політичні альянси вже глобального рівня, нові політичні виклики. Націоналістичні ідеї. Націоналісти якби були там ключовим фактором однозначно і на фронті. Зараз дуже багато є спекуляцій. Ну, нациків вже ж було небагато, там, ну, ЛГБТшники, там, посольства кажуть, ну, скільки там було там нациків? Ну, нациків там було там 10%, там, ну, за...
This is LGBT and foreign embassies saying there are not much neo-Nazis in Madian. Maybe about 10% of real ideological ones.
Паяних, ідейних. Ну це ж питання в тому, це може так казати лише Йолоб, який не був на війні, не знає, наскільки оцих от 10%, хоча там навіть може даже менше було, я думаю, націоналістів було хай там даже 8%, ну наскільки це в пропорції ефективності впливу, наскільки це складало просто галопуючи безкінечну підвищення ефективності. Не було б цих 8%, бо ефективність упала б на 90%.
If not for those 8% of neo-Nazis, the effectiveness would have dropped by 90%. So he said that they're saying it's only 10%. But their effectiveness and their influence is pervasive. But yeah, they're pretty much honest with who they are and what they stand for over there. Let's go forward in this. On Black News Channel, because a lot of people have been talking about Black Americans. And I've been disgusted with Negroes and their supposed support. It reminds me a lot of a couple years ago when that supposed terrorist attack happened in France, and a whole bunch of Negroes put the French flag over their profile pictures across social media. This woman was asked, "What can Black Americans do for Ukraine?" and she answered it in a very truthful way.
Should we be seeing more out of Black leadership when it comes to speaking out on behalf of the people of Ukraine?
Well, first of all, as a veteran, I do believe that we have responsibility to be humanitarian. At the same time, the nerve of anybody to think that Black people have not done enough. We have done everything to fight for everybody, but yet we don't fight for ourselves. How much energy do we want someone to have in one day, Dale? I ask you, if I have 8 to 10 hours a day, we're fighting in the war right here, the battleground right here, and our government's not listening. So how is anybody supposed to be motivated to say, hey, yeah, just go protest when they're protesting here and still nothing happens as far as policy? So I'm supposed to protest here, not get anything done, protest on what's going on 6,000 miles away, knowing nothing's not going to get done, and still deal with the fact that I can't afford to feed my family. It makes no sense. It is disrespectful to say that, well, Black people should be doing more. We have done enough. When is this country going to issue the same amount of money, the same amount of investment without a study? When is this country going to do the same amount of urgency without saying, well, we got to wait to get everybody on the same page and we don't want executive orders? The nerve of any...
Clearly, she is not of the boule class. She got on hoop earrings and she telling the damn truth. How in the hell can you expect from me to fight for somebody abroad when I'm in the belly of the damn beast and I can't even get shit done here in my own country? How dare you?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anybody. to put that on the backs of Black people who have not only fought for our own people, but have fought for everybody else all over this country for the last 400 years and built this country. So right now, people are depressed, Dale, and they're not interested in doing yet another thing to add to their day. And it's not because we don't care. It is because people are worn out. The same thing that Martin Luther King talked about in the 60s, we're still talking about it today. So if this government will give somebody the same boots and straps that they send into another country, maybe then they'll have the energy to fight for someone.
Oh, I'm in love with her. I'm so in love with her.
Didn't America offer $1 billion loan and a whole bunch of other countries offer hundreds of millions of dollars and all type of weaponry?
Right here in the state of Washington, they've already have a fund set up for Ukrainian people. Schools. They already have it set up. She's absolutely correct in what she was saying. How dare you tell me I need to worry about the Ukrainian people? I already have enough stuff that I'm dealing with, and now I have to go protest for
somebody else?
Fuck them. That's what she's saying pretty well. I said for your sister, fuck them.
All right. Let's see this. This is where I saw this. And I hope maybe this is fake. I know it ain't fake, but I hope it's fake. This dude said, some of these videos got me ready to grab my stick and fly to Ukraine. I'm calling all slaughter gang members, OTF, NBA, the GDs, and the BDs. We got to put an end to this shit.
I hate to be lewd, but what stick, sir, do you want to grab and fly to the UK with? Why are y'all Negroes so concerned about Ukraine when you got damn stuff going on in your communities? When you said they're going to send Chief
they were joking about sending Chief Keef.
So because he is Chirac war, that nigga can't even end the war in the damn Chicago, but we're going to send him to go to the wherever you say he's supposed to go. It's not funny. It's very ignorant. Our people act very ignorant sometimes. I know that it's okay to joke and have fun and get a laugh and a chuckle out of everything, but not everything is funny.
Yeah,
some shit is like, you fucking ignorant.
This right here, it was like, wow. Let's keep it real. People who are part of those gangs are terrorists in their own damn community.
That young black man who went to the police and had a shootout, that's him reacting to something that happened in his community.
In his community. To somebody he know and love.
You, sir, I know you don't give a damn about your community. You care more about these snowflakes out here and what's going on in their community. Y'all need to wake up. Smell the damn coffee, the damn roses, something instead of damn weed all the damn time. And occasionally meth for some of you. And I can't say the other word. I'll say shit. That's shit.
Here's a video. A woman, she seemed like she's maybe East African, I'm not sure. And she talked about comments that Putin made about Africa. And he made his comments and it made some people angry. But she seemed to have reacted to it in a more logical way. She said, listen to what he's saying, not emotionally, but listen to what he's actually saying. So listen what she had to say.
Diaspora News Channel. Russian President Putin says Africa is a cemetery for Africans. Before you form an opinion, first let me read you the whole quote of what he said. Putin says, quote, Africa will never be independent. Africans believe in Europeans, Americans, Chinese more than themselves. They don't trust themselves at all. A white man will commit crime in Africa, but no action will be taken because Africa authorities view us as semi-gods. Far from the truth, a black man can be abducted in Europe, get harassed, or even killed, but no African authority will question. Africans present themselves as weak people with no hope, especially when dealing with Europeans and Americans. They are their own enemies. They hate each other, and that gives their colonial masters power to continue exploiting African resources. When an African becomes rich, his bank accounts are in Switzerland. He travels to France for medical treatment. He invests in Germany. He buys from Dubai. He consumes Chinese. He prays in Rome and Mecca. His children stay in Europe. He travels to Canada, USA, Europe for tourism. If he dies, he will be buried in his native country of Africa. Africa is just a cemetery for Africans. How could a cemetery be developed? Putin asks. That's how it felt, really, hearing this from him. But let's be honest, let's have a real conversation. Is he really wrong? Is he telling the truth or is he lying? Let's be honest with ourselves, Africans. It's time to really reflect. Let's see. Which statement he made is wrong. It sucks hearing this from another person. It sucks that somebody had a view about how we act, how we move, and said that about us publicly, and that's a leader of a nation, Russia. It's not really nice to hear that from another person. That's definitely his observation. He's entitled to his opinion, but let's talk about his opinion. Is it really wrong? His opinion is formed from what he saw. Let's be true to ourselves. Let's be honest with each other. It's sad. It's really sad. But this is what's happening right now. If we want to see the change that we want, we need to be honest with ourselves. We need to see the truth. We need to reflect, and we need to change what needs to be changed. From what Putin said, most of it is right. Let's be clear. Our leaders see the white man as semi-gods. He said it. He even said, it's not true, but you guys think we're gods. How awful is that to hear?
You agree?
You know, I agree with everything that she said. And when we sit here and we have, you know, these offline conversations and we go, African Americans really don't go in on, Black Americans don't go in on African Americans on social media when we really can say some demon things. They'll say, oh, you get shot by the police and all these shit. If we go in on them and say, y'all let these people come in and steal resources from your countries, you still have undeveloped countries within your continent, and then you leave and go outside your continent to get quote unquote education and better this, and you don't even come back to help develop your country even more. And African Americans were like, we wish we had our own country to go back to. You know how many times I heard people say, I sure wish we had our own country because we wouldn't leave. We'll be in our country.
Well, you said that when you know how to deal with the situation.
Exactly. But the point of the matter is, why don't they believe in themselves enough to invest in themselves?
Wouldn't that be a form of colonization? Colonialism?
Yes, but like they tell us, okay, if you gotta eventually wake up and get out of that mind state.
Are black people are black Americans in the same mindset?
Yes, I say some of them still are in the same mindset. Yeah, we just read it. They're willing to go to the Ukraine and fight for them, but they won't fight for their communities in the United States. That's why that beautiful sister that was on Black News Channel, see, that's beauty. That's inside beauty.
Yeah.
Said, hell no, we not worried about them right now. We got our own shit to deal with. I'm paraphrasing what she's saying, and I'm saying what she really want to say. It's just really sad.
There was also a guy who was going around Ukraine, a black dude. He was doing freelance reporting, and people were, you know, let me go ahead and show this, making points about him being over there. His name is Terrell Jermaine Starr. He said, today closed with a unit I'm embedded in, eliminating 2 suspected Russian saboteurs in an EMT vehicle. Saw the whole thing go down. Car refused to stop after several warnings. Volunteers opened fire. It's 045 Monday. The volunteers are up protecting this highway in Kiev. Wait, so was the car actually have Russians in it? Or they just killed civilians? That's a war crime, ain't it? So you're saying you just witnessed a war crime?
I think that's what he's saying.
Okay. But yeah, that Ukraine thing, I was not surprised, but I don't know why when something happens that the global world decides is important, niggas just feel like they need to care too, when sometimes they ain't got shit to do with you.
I think it's just niggas. This is the problem. I think Black Americans feel like they have to be supportive of other people because you have quote unquote allies come out and support us. You see a lot of white people. So if they don't do it, it's just like, oh, well, people go out and march for Black Americans, but when other people are being affected, they don't come out and do the same for other groups of people. And I will say this, sorry, we have a lot of shit going on in-house with ourselves. We don't have time to focus on other people.
Maybe that
sometimes.
Maybe that shows that black people tend to rely on other people too much.
Exactly.
So you feel indebted to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because who you really see at these protesters marching?
White people.
And out of the group, it's white women.
Majority white women. Yep.
And they just do it
For attention.
They love these people in Seattle. They be ready for a march. I remember when they had that women's march and they all had a little cat fucking beanies on top of their head.
Yeah.
We call them toboggans in North Carolina, but I have to say beanies.
No, not toboggans. Yeah.
Whatever.
No, I said toboggan. I said toboggans. It's toboggans. We said.
Oh, I say toboggan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they said toboggans here.
It's funny that Appalachian people say toboggan too.
It's like, hold on.
You know, they a little slow. Anyway, but yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah, this war in Ukraine. We talked about it. Like I said, we talked about this last show. We talked about what it was about. The money. You want to say?
No, go ahead and I'll say.
We talked about it was about the money system and stuff like that. Now everybody get into another reason why we think they're about to do it. You can go ahead and say what you're about to say. About going to another topic.
I was just about to say, I know people be like, damn, Travis be going in on the Africans. He really don't like African people. The problem that I have is the land of Africa is so enriched with resources, minerals, and material. And I sit here and I see these people not taking advantage of what they have. And it's just like, y'all have all those people on that continent. Africa is much bigger than how they presented on the maps.
Yeah.
It's huge. And y'all let these Western countries in China come in and steal your resources. And then when people call you out on your bullshit or what's going on in the country, y'all try to make it seem like everybody else is crazy. No. Y'all the fucking crazy ones. Like the late great Pastor Derby said how he went there and they had all that farmland. And he's like, y'all have India coming in and doing this?
Yeah.
Well, they said we're waiting for India to come back
to do the farming.
Do the farming. He like, y'all waiting on the Indian people to come back and do the farming.
He said, we want America.
He said, you got all these kids right here. And when he said that brought us back to sharecropping, where you have 13, 14, 15 kids and put their ass out on the farms to do the farming on your land.
Yeah.
So he's like, you have a school with all these kids here.
You got land.
You got land. They can do the
downtown.
education, and then after their school, they can go out here and work on the farm part-time. You use the resources that you have, but y'all sitting here relying on Indian people to come back and do the farming, and then the Indian people cuss you out, call you stupid, say you don't know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And you take this abuse.
When I saw that video of the Asian talking shit to the African, I was like, it boils your blood, but you go.
And that's why that's why I'm so hard on them, because I'm just like, if we had that opportunity, I think we would take advantage of one another, and we would rely on one another more.
Is that because of our mindset we developed here in America?
Well, clearly
or you think it's natural?
I think it's
developed. I think it was developed.
I think it's developed and it's natural. We can't sit here and say that, well, Nigerian people leave or African people leave the continent to go better their education. They have that mindset too, if they want to get better and have better things. They just choose to not bring it back to their country and improve their country and make it better. Not all of them.
Well, because
some of them do go back.
A lot of the ones that leave and don't come back are people that they were not part of the normal society anyway. They were usually, like you said, come from wealthier backgrounds. So they were not part of the common people, quote unquote. But yeah. Another reason why we think this thing might be happening. Hold on.
It always goes back to this.
It somehow.
That's why I tell y'all that's the ultimate end game.
We talked about last show how the president of Vladimir Zelensky, how he came into power in the United States during the Obama administration, pretty much endorsed a coup that happened between 2013 and 2014. That coup led to a overthrow of the government. It was violent. It led to a new election in 2019, and Vladimir Zelensky was voted in. The second he was voted in, he held this: soldiers joined biggest gay pride march in Ukraine. This is right after he got voted in, immediately. You see here, troops in military uniform joined more than 8,000 people marching in Kiev gay pride parade amid tight security on Sunday, the biggest ever annual celebration of diversity of ex-Soviet Ukraine. You see that? Ex-Soviet Ukraine. Ukraine is connected to Russia. What does Russia believe about LGBT community?
They think it's an abomination,
and they don't support
support it and they don't want it in their country,
you can literally be arrested.
Yeah.
So what are they really going against Russia for?
Because Russia don't approve of that lifestyle.
And a lot of people might think that's insane. Think that a country would go to war with another country because of their beliefs.
They know that. They know that that's the end of your society. When that comes into your society, that's the end.
Remember, was that last year during that? No, it wasn't last year. That was under Trump. Remember when they passed that bill
where the trannies could? I mean the.
No. What's the name of the bill for the checks they were sending out?
Checks.
They were sending out checks to people.
Stimulus
check. Remember the first stimulus bill? And in that bill, they had money that went to Afghanistan for transgender teaching. And you go, why are they sending money to another country to teach about transgenderism?
Well, we did have to take into effect that Trump did say they had stuff in the bill
that he didn't want,
that didn't have nothing to do with stimulus check. He said they have things in the bill that has nothing to do with the American people.
Exactly. So America, part of their imperialist beliefs, part of their ability to their ideological beliefs or democracy is LGBT beliefs,
which is the ultimate end game for global society. Listen, it's gonna get rough out here. It's already getting rough out here. I take transit sometimes, and I get up pretty early in the morning. And a couple of weeks ago, I thought it was, I was gonna be coming to blows. It was two people at the bus stop. They were acting very weird. They were saying some weird stuff, and I'm like, shit. It's two of these people, and they pretty big. So I'm invested into some brass fucking knuckles because I ain't going out. I'm gonna take one of them out. Look, one of them go.
Yeah. Speaking of the end, so President Zelensky, I'm pretty sure you've seen this music video that he filmed in 2014, which is at the height of the quote unquote revolution that was happening in Ukraine, endorsed by the Obama administration. And what's his name? Who's the guy Obama beat in 2008? John McCain. Listen, I'm gonna show you this music video. Not all of it, just a segment.
Yeah,
of it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they done seen this video. It's all around the damn.
Yeah, it's all on the
internet and
went viral.
It's some sick shit.
Now keep in mind, this dude.
It's a Sodom and Gomorrah.
The now president of Ukraine is a former comedian who was on a show called Serve the People.
What year did he get into office?
2019.
What year did Trump get into office?
2016.
So they allowed Trump, who's not a politician, and I'm saying allowed because these people are selected, not elected.
Well, he's not the first one.
No,
Ronald Reagan was an actor.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, who would let a comedian
become a president,
run a damn country,
and especially one
that is a flaming.
Now, I'm gonna show the video first,
bro.
Hold on. That's the president of Ukraine right now. That's who America is backing. That's who NATO is backing. He's a Jewish comedian who lives in Ukraine, who became president, and he didn't even speak.
Where is the what place has the gay capital of the world? Tel Aviv.
No. You mean Israel?
The Tel Aviv, that's in Israel.
Oh yeah. That's my actual place. Oh yeah.
That's the actual place. Now these people are supposed to be the chosen people of God.
Yeah,
most of them are most of them are atheists. They don't believe in God.
Yeah.
But these are God's chosen people.
Have the biggest festival in the world every year.
But you have people like Black Americans in the United States who they call what they call us homosexual phobic, and we don't like it. Yeah. Homophobic. We don't like that in our community, and blah blah blah. Seems like these people fit more of the Israelite people than the ones that are in Israel.
All right, so I showed you.
Even though it's some wicked ass people and wicked ass Negroes.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Oh yeah, Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta.
So I showed you that the second this man got into office, he had a parade for the biggest gay pride parade and made the soldiers participate in it.
Wow.
I then showed you that he has suspect stuff he done in the past. He's a comedian. And you see that music video, what he's about. Now I'm going to show you this. This is as Russia wages war, U.S. Army trains officers on gender identity. Policy on the military service of transgender persons and persons with gender dysphoria training module. They literally in the U.S. military are training their members to know how to deal with someone who has thoughts and desires to change their gender. So a person can be a man one day and a woman the next day. And as an officer, you are forced to address them by what they want to be called.
You mean deal with people who have mental issues?
They literally call it gender dysphoria.
You have to, like, it's unfair to me that I have to say, like, you say, how you, like, if you say, how you doing, young lady? You have to say, how you doing, they? How are you doing today, they?
Them,
we. And that's some crazy shit.
Like you said before, that is we are legion type stuff. Like they have multiple entities inside of them.
And they don't know who they are that day.
They don't know
that
who
goes
they is
back
at any
to that woman's on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when she says, well, maybe today you're feeling asexual.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe today you're feeling a little heterosexual.
They ain't homosexual.
Maybe today you like both. Maybe today you're leaning towards this one more. And it's like, that's chaos, confusion. That's a fucking mental issue.
Okay. The Army allows transgender soldiers to serve openly. The Army is open to all who can meet the standards of military service and remain committed to treating all soldiers with dignity and respect while ensuring good order and discipline. All soldiers must maintain Army standards, good order, and discipline at all times. Transgender soldiers are subject to the same standards as any other soldier with the same DEER's gender marker. And otherwise qualified soldiers shall not be involuntarily separated, discharged, or denied re-enlistment or continuation of service on the basis of gender identity. This is what they worried about. This is what the U.S. military is worried about. They don't, like, come on. Let me show you another thing. I brought up that right there. I showed you also that the Canada's deputy prime minister, her grandfather was a literal Nazi propagandist. Well, she posted a picture on her social media of herself holding a flag that is connected to neo-Nazi groups. Now, this is what she originally posted. We stand united. We stand with Ukraine. She said in other languages. But after people pointed out that flag she got, that what she got there is connected to neo-Nazi groups, she then went on to delete that post and post this one where she's not holding it.
But she still has that.
But it's in the background. And you go.
Don't she have it right there though?
No, that's not that.
Okay.
The scarf, she took another picture and put another picture of it without her holding the scarf that's connected to neo-Nazi.
What was the words on the scarf?
I don't know the language, but it's connected to a neo-Nazi group.
Okay.
And it's like, is it not obvious? Why is this still, should you be allowed to be a representative of a country when you have connections, you have ties like that?
Well, unfortunately, in this day and age, you could do whatever or be whatever as a public official.
It's crazy. All right, we can go back here. I'm going to run through this now. This is some quick stuff I want to show. All right. Look at this. I want to talk a little bit about Obama's administration.
Oh, her name is Jennifer?
Yeah.
Then why we been calling her Jen?
That's the name she want to be called, Jen Psaki.
No, we should be calling her by her government name, which is Jennifer.
So you see here, it says Jennifer Psaki is President Joe Biden's first press secretary, but this is not her first job in the White House and commemorates a long career as a spokeswoman for prominent Democrats. After 2 years as the chief spokeswoman at the State Department, she finished off Obama's second term as White House Communications Director. Psaki comes to the Biden administration from West Advisors, where she worked with a number of former Obama officials, advising corporate clients on how to navigate the federal government. Psaki also previously served as press secretary for President Obama's 2012 re-election campaign and as consultant for the Global Strategy Group. After graduating from college in the Williams and Mary 2000, Psaki worked on a re-election campaign of a pair of Iowa Democrats. Governor Tom Vilsack. Guess who that is? That's the man who's the Secretary of Agriculture. The man who's blocking those black farmers from getting what the help they need. The one who accused a black woman of being racist in a edited video. Tom Vilsack, the one who the farmers did not want to get that job and they ignored it and still gave him the job.
Well, why do you think
Vilsack.
they ignored it and still gave him the job?
Because he's connected.
Exactly.
So Tom Vilsack, Senator Tom Harkin, she was a representative Joseph Crowley's the communication director before hitting the campaign trail again to work for John Kerry's presidential campaign. As deputy press secretary, she was spokeswoman for Kerry's wife and children and his running mate, John Edwards. Psaki worked under Rahm Emanuel, Chicago, the man who Laquan McDonald tried to cover it up. And he just got, and Biden just put him in his cabinet last year. Remember, I think he got voted in as an ambassador to Japan or something.
Well, then how many things is she connected to?
She's connected. Rahm Emanuel, we know he's connected to Obama.
Rahm Emanuel, isn't that the one
who was there doing the Juicy Smollett and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, he's more connected to the Laquan McDonald case.
Yeah.
We try to get it covered up. In the 2006 election cycle, as the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee's press secretary for the Midwest and Northeast regions, developing a professional relationship with the future White House chief of staff. She joined Obama's 2008 campaign early on as a deputy press secretary and was quickly promoted to traveling press secretary, becoming Obama's main spokeswoman on that road. After more than a year on the campaign trail, Psaki joined the White House after Obama's victory as deputy assistant on the president and deputy communication director until 2011. This is Obama's cabinet.
And it goes back to who I said was running the country.
Like, all these people are connected to Obama.
All of them.
So I'm going to show another one. Let me shoot through this. Look at this. Biden cabinet picks worked alongside influential lobbyists at private equity firm. Now look at that. Lloyd Austin. That's your, whatchamacallit right now. Biden just put him down, put him in charge of the military. Anthony Blinken. He's with the Biden campaign, Biden administration right now. Two of President-elect Joe Biden's cabinet nominees worked alongside two top Washington lobbyists at a private equity firm and touted as access, network, and expertise in defense industry. Retired General Lloyd Austin, Biden's pick for Secretary of Defense, and Anthony Blinken, his choice to lead the State Department, worked as D.C. partners for Pine Island Capital Partners, an investment firm specializing in its defense companies, and advised the firm alongside several influential lawmakers turned lobbyists, including former Senate Majority Leader Tom Daci and former House Majority Leader Dick Galbert, each of whom run their own lobbying firms and attract the foreign and domestic clients. They also work for that Westsec firm I was talking about. Mm-hmm. That's connected to Blackstone. Blackstone's the one who's buying up all the property right now. All these people are connected. I also want to show a video from 2000, what was it, 7 years ago? When Psaki, when she was in the Obama.
7 years ago.
In 2014.
In terms of
when Obama was president, Psaki had to answer questions about the Ukraine-Russian conflict when Ukraine was, after America had pretty much endorsed a coup. Psaki was asked a question about an RT reporter, which she refused to answer. This was in 2014.
And she's still refusing to answer questions.
I don't answer questions.
Am I being detained?
Watch this.
In terms of what we're doing, we're continuing to support the government of Ukraine as they work through this difficult time on the economic front, on energy reform front. We've consistently called for de-escalation from all parties, for greater unity, for an effort at constitutional reform that is inclusive across the country, and they've taken steps to abide by that.
Was it a coincidence that both times Kiev ordered troops to East Ukraine came right on the heels of top U.S. officials' visit to Kiev? First time it was John Brennan, and this time it was Vice President Joe Biden. Did Vice President Joe Biden advise Kiev to take such action, or was it just a coincidence?
I think you're simply restating Foreign Minister Lavrov's ludicrous claims from yesterday.
But what is the response?
I think we're ready to move on to a new Ukraine question. Go ahead, Elise. Oh, it's something else? Anyone else on Ukraine? Yep. Go Ukraine, go ahead.
So Joe Biden.
So that was her training to be
press secretary. So Joe Biden, John McCain, both went to Ukraine, and every time they went, it led to conflict in Ukraine. That happened another time when a certain Clinton, went to Libya, and a certain Muammar Gaddafi ended up with a blade in his ass.
Who you talking about, my boo? Hillary Clinton?
Exactly. She stepped foot in that country, and somebody and a couple other people, and he ended up dead. So when American officials speak out against you and then come to your country, you better you got 40 hours. Ain't that what Bush told Saddam Hussein? George Bush, right before they decided to invade Iraq, he told Saddam Hussein, "You got 40 hours to leave the country."
I never forget.
Go ahead.
How they did Khabib, what was his name?
Gaddafi. Yeah, had him walking around looking crazy. Then stuck a knife up his
rectum,
and then hung him. Put his head on the stick afterwards. It was bloody. It was messed up. You know why they did that? Because he didn't want to take America's fiat currency for oil. He said, "I want gold."
Made him do like the walk of shame through his city.
Walk through the city, beating them and all type of stuff. Then he wanted gold for the oil, and he said he wanted a gold dinar currency backed by gold.
America don't have no gold.
He know they had no gold.
That was a clear attack on the United States, and they saw him as a damn threat to them.
You know what they did? They put his head on the stake and took his gold. America's some gangsters. They some thugs.
I told you they backed by bullets.
They backed by lead. Yeah, it's.
I told y'all we living in the belly of the beast.
This should be the last one on Psaki. I just so many connections with her. Look at this. Now this is alleged. I read through this. It's not necessarily proven. I'm just gonna read the headline. Biden spokesperson Jen Psaki worked for Israeli spy firm. I'm gonna leave that there. You tell me if you're surprised or not. I'm not surprised if she did.
They shouldn't be surprised.
Didn't the FBI or was the CIA just catch Israel spying with their technology? Forgot the name of that technology, and they purchased it from them. So Israel is known for spying on people and stealing. So
rats.
Israeli, should I say? Now this is a video of a guy who was commentating on Obama's rise and who he really is and what he really stands for. As you can see, the name of the channel is Cultivated Ignorance. See Afro-Pessimism and the Creation of Barack Obama, featuring Frank B. Watterson III. Let's see what he got to say.
I'm sorry, I'm 65. Blank on this person. There's a Brazilian sociologist who wrote a book about how Obama was created. And the Blue Dog Democrats said, we got a problem. We got a problem. The problem is that so many people in the Congressional Black Caucus are from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. They come through King. We had a problem in 1984 when Jesse Jackson almost stole the show at the convention. We can't go through that again, number one. We cannot afford. And they were calling these radicals. I don't even call the Congressional Black Caucus Jesse Jackson radicals. They were like, the radicals are going to take over the Democratic Party. You know, we can't afford for that to happen, number one. Number two, we can't win unless 90% of the Black people go to the polls. So how do we keep Black votes and keep those SCLC people from gaining hegemony like Jackson almost did in 1984? How do we get a Black face, get Black votes, but not have Black agency? And Vernon Jordan, you know, there's always a Negro willing to help, right? You can find him, you know.
Scattered around, they sprinkled out the country. You can find them. You can find anywhere.
Always find a Negro willing to help, you know. Vernon Jordan said, I got your massa, you know. And he said, there's this little dude over here in the state legislature in Illinois, and I think if we pour money into him and put him up on a stage, we can have someone who's Black, who will shame Black people for being too radical, who will do our bidding, who can get elected, who can soothe, who can be that person that you just talked about, Mike, who walks in the room and says, "Oh, a Black guy in the room," as opposed to, you know, Hugh P. Newton, a Black guy in the room, you know, and
now he just said Obama was put forth because he would be willing to shame the black community. What does Obama do every time black people start saying, I'm not voting unless I get something?
He shame them.
He say, we don't have time for this. We can't sacrifice good for perfect. He shames black people for asking for stuff.
Sure do.
We can then cut the credential Black Caucus at the knees, keep the black vote.
So hold on, let me go to the next part. And it worked. The devil's got assy. It worked. Let me go back. Show this part.
And have our white agenda moving forward. And they said, how do you know he's, the Blue Dog said, how do you know he's our dude? He said, because there's a former Black Panther in the state legislature named Bobby Rush, who was Fred Hampton's right-hand man. And he's the kind of black dude who will go toe-to-toe with Bobby Rush when Bobby Rush is trying to put forward really progressive, he will do like NWA says in their song Fuck the Police, the black cop shows out for the white cop. He shows out on Bobby Rush in the state legislature so he can stand up, and he's got a white mama. What more do you want? Okay? And so this is all documented. They brought Obama from the legislature to a penthouse in New York, and they said, talk, Negro, hors d'oeuvres and cocktails. They shot him a bunch of questions, and he talked all night long. And when he got done, they said, this is our dude, okay? Poured a ton of money into him. He ran for for the Senate. And as a junior senator, given a speech at the convention, and next thing you know, he's president. He is a creation of white desire. He's not an agent of black liberation, okay? And the reason that he's able to mobilize and emerge is precisely because of what we're talking about, gratuitous violence. The fact that COINTELPRO had killed so many black people who had secured a mandate, then there was a vacuum left for white money and white power to create the Negro that they needed.
Created
decadent veil.
Created heroes. There's a lot of talk about created heroes the last couple of months. Was Dane Calloway? He had niggas.
Harriet Tubman worked as a railroad conductor.
Oh, niggas was actually at first niggas trying to laugh about it, like niggas say he work for a damn rail company. Then it was like,
whoa,
damn, it's kind of. Who was that?
They putting two and two together. They were like,
there was a viral clip of a woman on is it Love and Hip Hop or one of those shows?
Oh, and that was Portia Williams for the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
And she said that Harriet Tubman was a train company.
And she said that Harriet Tubman, like you said, was a train something. She said, yeah, she worked for the Underground Railroad. She was a train conductor. And Kenya Moore was like, she's a fucking dumbass. No, the Underground Railroad was a place where she went and transported slaves. They called it the Underground Railroad, and it's like, well, Kenya, in that instance, Portia might have been right.
Niggas was like, what the hell going on? Our whole world's getting turned upside down. What is going on? Here's the company.
Two very beautiful sisters, by the way. Portia Williams and
you couldn't get away from that one, could you?
Miss Kenya Moore.
Portia. Yeah. Hold on, let me next part. Last segment.
Oh, and it's great that Portia was named after a Porsche, and she actually
I think it's almost over. At least for now. The ceasefire is finally here. CDC to significantly ease pandemic mask guidelines Friday.
But that's the CDC. It's still up to the
Biden them lowering the restrictions for federal government buildings too. They said about 90% of the population not gonna have to wear masks no more. They've officially pretty much ended mask mandates.
But it's still up to local businesses,
I guess. But yeah, at this point, it's not. You don't have to wear a mask. If companies decide they want you to wear one, though, I'm pretty sure that's gonna die down because people just
tired of wearing masks.
Yeah, people gonna be like, I'm not.
I don't know. I'm keep my mask on. I mean, I done coordinated and got stuff.
Yeah, niggas started matching the mask.
Damn right.
Nah.
And I got shit that go together now.
The Biden administration will significantly loosen federal mask wearing guidelines to protect against COVID-19 transmission, meaning most Americans will no longer be advised to wear masks in indoor public settings. I think they already said it. They said we are, by the way, Pfizer had to release 400 pages. And in the first couple of pages, we've seen a whole bunch of possible adverse events were released. I'm not going to go too far into that. But lawsuits is definitely coming. Lawsuits is coming for your ass. And look at this. This guy here, right? YouTube, we've had, how many times have we had, how many strikes have we had? 4?
4.
5. 4.
4.
And I know people like, how the hell you get 5 strikes, 3 and you're going? Well, if you get a strike and go 3 months without getting a strike, you lose a strike.
It's off your record.
So we always get 2. We always get 1. And right before that 1 go away, we end up getting another one. So we only have
YouTube
1.
jail is a little bit different from the 3 strike law.
Yeah, strike can actually go away.
And the 3 strike law, when you're done, you're done. But YouTube, they, after a certain amount of time,
3 months,
you can,
90 days,
you can get it off your record.
A strike will go away. But look at this. We've been struck down for medical misinformation. When we've said certain things about what's going on, we've been struck down and given a strike for medical misinformation and not allowed to upload for a week and 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This dude here got a medical strike or medical misinformation strike. But guess why he got it? Because he advocated for mask wearing.
So they're doing the opposite of everything.
But the CDC said you don't need to wear masks. The CDC is lowering the mask mandate. So he's now on the wrong side. So a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, if he was pushing for mask wearing, the video would be fine. But now they've changed the rules.
So what are they going to do with the people that's going to be out here protesting?
Pushing for vaccines and stuff.
They're saying that we need to keep our mask on. We don't believe that there is immunity for everybody. What are they going to do with these people?
Misinformation. They're going to say they misinformation.
So now they done flipped on their ass.
They flipped on them.
Because I'm telling you, I can see it. People protesting saying that you should still be wearing masks. The pandemic is not over. What about people still getting sick? And now they're going to say, no, it's fine. You don't need to wear the mask. But you have embedded in these people's brain
so much fear.
And people are still going to be out here wearing masks.
They are. So this dude got a strike for saying you should wear masks. And then they reviewed it and upheld it.
Wow.
And it's like, okay.
Well, damn, now we can go in, huh?
A little bit more.
You can say wearing masks the whole time was bullshit.
Oh, I still wouldn't try that. The mugs are still swing. They're still swing. But yeah.
I mean, y'all had people putting up with their breath for 2 years.
Let me tell you something. The breath.
I remember it was a dude that got on and he was like, it stinks back here. And I said, it's probably your mouth. Because you got the mask over your damn mouth. That's what you smell.
You're smelling shit for a reason. But Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine protected kids during Omicron, CDC for the study finds. Now, they changed the title. The title was actually Pfizer COVID vaccine protects kids from Omicron, but not as well as people. It didn't stop infection as much as they thought. That was the original title.
I thought they had a little black kid up there too.
Yeah, they changed all of that.
Wow. It was a black little boy. They had getting what they call it? The jab.
Yeah, getting the jab. And they don't even call it the vaccine anymore. Get the jab.
Get the jab.
Now look at this. This is Rochelle Walensky.
That is
the CDC director.
That's the nut job.
She said, I knew it was crazy when she got on TV crying. I said, what leader gets in front of the people and cry? You're supposed to show strength.
I think she's Jewish too.
I don't know. CDC updated its framework to monitor the level of COVID-19 in communities. This framework moves beyond looking just at cases and tests. What'd I tell you? I told you in December, they're moving away from that. They don't care about that. To looking beyond just cases and test positivity to evaluate factors that reflect severity of disease, including hospitalizations and hospital capacity. So only count it if you go to the hospital. If you don't go to the hospital, they don't care. COVID-19 community levels, low, limited impact on healthcare system, and low levels of severe illness. Medium, some impact on healthcare systems and more people with severe illness. High potential for hospital healthcare strain and high level of severe illness. Then they went into it more. She showed certain places across the country. As you can see, according to her, as of February 24th, this was the map. So,
North Carolina, damn.
They saying North Carolina's still high. Ain't nobody vaccinated. That's Tennessee.
That whole area, the North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee,
West Virginia, yeah.
India, Kentucky.
Yeah.
That whole area.
Somehow Oregon. Wow.
Can you click on the...
What?
You can't click on the individual.
No, I can't click on that, no. This is a picture.
Washington is kind of all three.
It's pretty green, actually. Washington's pretty green and yellow. A little bit of red.
Well, it's orange.
Yeah, orange.
But they still have King County as a little orange. You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
It's like a little thin script.
This person said...
Well, what's the yellow?
That's Washington.
What does that mean?
According to him, that means moderate. He's saying most of the country is still red. But he said, all but one state has transmission levels above the current CDC threshold for masking. Rather than wait to ensure everyone is safe, the CDC is going to cave to the impatience of the rich and powerful, putting many at risk and prolonging the pandemic. So they're saying y'all getting rid of the mask because of money. Y'all want people to get back to work. Y'all want people to get back in the office. Remember they were trying to push this idea of people working from home, and then they said, nah, you need to get back to the office.
Well, some people are
still say, some people say, I'm never going back to the office. Black people
no.
like, I ain't never going back to the office.
You know what they've done? They like people that work for, like, let's say your sales reps, they all work from home. When you call in, you can hear the kids in the background screaming, ah! And I'm just like,
they ain't never going back.
They ain't never going back.
No.
They don't have to worry about getting a babysitter. They literally just stay at home, you know, take orders or whatever, you know. That's what they do now.
Yeah, that's all they got to do.
I don't understand. When you do that to a society, you've trained their, so now they have to go back and retrain them and say, no,
I told you.
You have to go back to work.
I told you.
And you're going to have people fighting and saying, no, I don't want to go back to work.
I told you 2 weeks ago, the movies, they now have movies that are movie theater exclusive for 2 months or so. That's to convince people to become more social again. They have to.
Do you think it's going to work?
Oh, it have to. They're going to have to force it. They got to reconfigure you to want to be in public. You know how many people who have no anxiety problems, all of a sudden when they see a big crowd on television, they get anxiety. Like all them people near each other. I remember we was watching a movie or TV show or something. You saw a bus full of people.
That was a damn YouTube we was watching.
Yeah.
And it was New York Subway.
New York Subway.
That was back in the day, though.
Yeah, from back in the day.
And I said...
Hold on. You said back in the day. Like, that's 10 years. That was like a year, 2 years ago.
That's back in the day. They have warped us.
But on the train, there was a whole bunch of New Yorkers all up on each other talking. He was like, that can never happen again.
It was a man who had his damn armpits in a woman's face. She's like, get your damn arm out of my face.
And you was
and I was just like, how the fuck was it? I wasn't talking about from a stance of catching, like,
I know you just saying how we that close to each other.
How are you that close to one another? Even then, even before the pandemic, here in Seattle, there's a sense of space.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you need to move. You in my face.
Personal space. Yeah,
there's a such thing as personal space. In New York, there's no such thing as personal space.
No, it's still in New York. It's really more pervasive or normalized in places like Europe. Like they really get close up on each other. Like getting in somebody's face over there, getting in somebody's face in America is threatening.
Like when you're on public transit, it's a known fact that you don't sit next to nobody. It's like, okay, everybody got a seat, I got to stand up.
Yeah.
But now it's come a little bit where people are like, fuck it, I'm sitting down.
It's getting back to normal.
It's not getting back to normal because when I'm on that bitch, you ain't sitting next to me.
Okay, judge unseals 400 pages of evidence, clears way for Pfizer whistleblower lawsuits. The whistleblower basically said that they were lying, they got committed a lot of fraud, and they lied about the tests and all that stuff. Basically, it's a woman. She used to work for a company that was hired to do the tests for Pfizer, and she said there was a lot of fraud going on. They was lying about the data. There was a lot of stuff going on. They suing for. So expect that to be a bigger deal soon.
I just want to see how they're going to retrain society to once again want to be around, because the extroverts are fine. They've been living their life like it's golden. They still continue to do what they want to do. They said they didn't give a fuck about no coronavirus, no COVID-19. They continue to live their life.
Yeah.
But the people who were already introverts,
yeah,
they've been loving this.
Oh yeah. It's just like, oh my God, the whole world to myself.
I'm practically an introvert. This has not fucking bothered me. When I need to be an extrovert, I'm an extrovert. When I was like, okay.
Man, when people was doing what they want to do the whole 2 years, they were partying,
honestly,
they doing all the stuff they wanted to do.
It's certain states that have been on a lockdown. Washington State has been one of them. California, Oregon, all your woke.
New York.
Georgia.
No. Florida, no. Texas.
Alabama. Surprisingly, North Carolina
Pretty
was
close.
one of the states.
Yeah.
We'll say they was in between because we have family members that didn't play that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally had an uncle said, when you come here,
y'all can come to my house.
You might have to, wave from the window. You come to the driveway and wave.
Our uncle said, y'all not vaccinated? Shit, y'all not better come to my house. I was like, damn,
Smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave. All right, you see this? This is going to be on the last thing. He said, did you guys also look into the findings of these scientists who did you merely set out to debunk the Wuhan lab leak theory? This is a quote from the video I'm about to show you. Now scientists find that virus contains a tiny chunk of DNA that matches sequence patent by Moderna 3 years before the pandemic begins. Yes, you heard that correctly.
Contains a tiny chunk of DNA that matches sequence patented by Moderna 3 years before the pandemic began. Your reaction, Stefan. What can you tell us?
So my scientists are looking into those data to see how accurate they are or not. As I've said before, the hypothesis of an escape from a lab by an accident is possible. Human makes mistakes. So is it possible that the Wuhan lab in China was working on viruses enhancement or gene modification? And then there was an accident where somebody was infected in the lab and then infected their families and friends. It is possible. On the claim you just mentioned, the scientists are analyzing to know if it's real or not.
Yeah, I mean, I was struck by the line, it matched a genetic sequence patented by Moderna for cancer research purposes, Stefan.
I can't say it, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's the type of things that the team is looking at very carefully to know is it real or not. Okay. So it takes a bit of time to know.
So now we're going to act like we ain't hear that. Your lying eyes and ears. Your ears lying too.
In this moment.
Your lying eyes and ears. I got to say this. This is what they said is a fact check. Short identical gene sequence in SARS-CoV-2 and a gene sequence patented by Moderna can be found in the organisms, not evidence that the virus was engineered. The full claim is more evidence COVID was tinkered with in the lab. Now scientists find virus contains tiny chunk of DNA that matches sequence patented by Moderna 3 years before the pandemic began. And they went on to try and debunk this and said it's normal for certain natural things to happen to also be patented somehow. But we'll let y'all answer that one. And the final thing we're going to show, biotech firms allege Moderna hijacked technology to develop COVID-19. So they're getting sued, Moderna. Somebody said you stole our technology and made billions, which is pretty normal in the pharmaceutical industry. Which, by the way, the Obama administration, some of the people that work for him were part of the pharmaceutical companies as well. So.
And we appreciate everybody that comes and views the channel and keep up the support. It's greatly appreciated.
Being fake. Anyway, man.
I ain't fake.
Y'all be safe, man. Hopefully everything goes well. Peace to y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you comment on things that happen in the video.
I hope y'all made it to the end of the video.
If they did. But yeah, man, y'all be good. Y'all be safe. All praise to the Most High. And peace, man.